Hello, hello, and happy holidays, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis. Up top, we have today, Brazil.
Hi.
And down here, we have Tanya. How are you doing today, Tanya?
I'm great. Happy holidays, everyone.
Yay. I know it's been such a strange year for me because I've really been home since March. I really have. I haven't been outside more than maybe 30 times, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the entire year is gone, I'm like, what happened? What happened? So it's been pretty strange for me, to be honest. But if this is your first time on Reality Realness, welcome. We're happy to have you. If you haven't done so already, please just subscribe right down over there. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. And if we could do it in the last freaking week of 2020, that would be the best button ever. So before we get to the main event here today, we are going to be talking about episodes 12 and 13, the finale of The Bachelorette. Last week, we had some discussions that we needed to find the answers to. And so we tasked Tanya to go and do some extra research regarding a particular topic. So Tanya, do you want to present your research right now, please?
Yeah. So last week, primarily me and I think one other person, shout out to you in the comments, we're talking about what the order of hometowns is and how that reflects who gets eliminated. So I actually went back. I only did Bachelorette seasons just because that was a little bit easier to do than Bachelor and Bachelorette. And I determined, based on everybody that was at hometowns, when their dates were and who was eliminated based on that. So far and away, statistically speaking, almost 45% of people are eliminated if they have date number 4. So that is primarily who goes home, the 4th date, especially in recent seasons. Basically from Andy onward, that 4th person is usually in danger. And then literally 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is about the same percentage, around 19% each. So equal distribution, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but 4th, far and away, not a good spot to be in terms of how they're aired as well. Obviously,
okay, so
it might have been filmed differently.
Who was in that spot this time around?
So this time it was Ben. And he was eliminated. Yeah.
So this rings true. So that 45% makes a lot of sense. So maybe this is a new thing that has developed with their editing is okay, who's in the 4th spot is not going to stick around anymore. So maybe, yeah, it's the evolution of elimination strategy with that.
Because I feel like they like that cliffhanger. They're all about the cliffhanger.
Exactly.
So
I think it's the way they structure the episodes now. They want to keep you tuned in. So usually the 3rd or 4th date is the most dramatic one. That's how it's been even the last couple years. For Hannah, her last date would have been Jed. And then right before that, Luke. So that's the 3rd person. Right before that, Becca had Colton in the last spot and he was eliminated. Right before that, Rachel had Dean in the last spot and he was eliminated. So it's just usually that dramatic date or the one that has a little bit more that they can play for, entertainment value. They usually put in those positions and usually that person leaves. So
solid research.
Solid. Sam here joining us. Hi, Sam. Hey, guys.
Hey, Sam.
Your guys' opinion. I know we got some opinions, I think, about this final 2-night finale. One thing, though, I don't know if you came across it in your research, but what about the run and jump legs around the waist for the, you picked up the book, the notebook, so I'm hoping that
I actually, to be totally honest with you, didn't really go down that rabbit hole. It's surprisingly difficult to find information after a certain point in time. I think it probably originated on The Bachelor, in some capacity versus The Bachelorette, where girls jump into the guy's arm all the time. But I'm not sure. I'll have to bring that in for Matt's season and bring the heavy stats in.
Yes, please. I need those stats. What we're talking about is like the run, jump, and wrap your legs around the waist of the guy. It usually happens on the hometown dates, and they're like a full run up and jump. It's just so like awkward and silly, and it just happens in every single one. So you're just like wondering if it's Bachelor, producers being like, "Can you just do the run and jump and wrap your legs around him?"
Yeah, but like at the local park with like kids playing in the background.
Them like running. I just remember specifically with Becca Kufrin's season that she just would do it all the time.
And it was her favorite thing to climb Colton.
Becca was in that. Becca.
No. Sorry. Yeah. Wait. Colton was on.
Colton was there.
On Becca's, yeah.
Final four, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of Garrett.
Him too, but I think because Colton's taller,
she had a tall, pretty hot final four because it was Jason and Blake, Colton and Garrett. So she made it happen there. She had running and jumping potential.
I think I just blocked out Colton because I'm just the biggest fan.
We all did.
Hi, Sans. How are you? Hi, guys. I've not watched the finale yet as I live in England, but I know the results over all of our Instagram page. Okay, yes, we will be talking about the finale. Like, not right away, but we will be getting to that. But it's been pretty widely publicized.
Yes.
And Sam says, was watching interviews with Tayshia where she explained she acted weird, shy, but because she wasn't used to dating someone like Zach. Maybe that's why we felt he was more into her. Interesting. We will probably talk a lot about all the relationships, but let's start with episode 12. So this is the fantasy suite date, or dates, question or plural. So I feel that since Caitlin Bristow's season that we are kind of getting more used to the fact that something intimate happens in the fantasy suites. But I do think that it's really important for these couples to have these intimate moments, also having these big conversations. I didn't know that JoJo was still on the property though. Did you guys? I was shocked.
I feel like anyone that comes, they probably are just keeping there, just in case something happens to Chris, or just in case, they have to have backups. I feel in case one of them gets COVID or something. So that was my thought. Okay, maybe they're just utilizing her because she's on the payroll.
Yeah, she's already there. Exactly. Mm-hmm. She's already collecting her paycheck, so they're gonna put her to work. Give us a few more chatty girl scenes.
JoJo does offer some good perspective with Tayshia. The fact that she really felt that all of her relationships got taken to the next level after the fantasy suites, which of course they're going to, because if you're in real life, you would have probably had some of these more intimate moments a few times before you got engaged. So I do think it's important for that. I was hoping that she kind of was going to talk about each of the guys with JoJo, being like, this is how I feel about Brendan. This is how I feel about Ivan. This is how I feel about Zach. He kind of just said their names and then maybe it was edited out, but I wanted to hear more in that little girl talk sesh. So JoJo wants them to talk about life after the Bachelorette. Do you think there's any other really important things that should be discussed in the fantasy suite?
I mean, do you want to plant a seed for later? You should probably talk about, big ways in which you need to be aligned or not aligned in life. Do you want kids? Do you want a family? Do you have strong religious belief or not? Do you, where do you stand politically? All of these things are pretty important to know because they're places where if you disagree, it's just not really something that you're going to be able to move past. You're fundamentally different if you don't have some alignment there.
Do you want to add anything, Brazil? Oh, maybe not.
Sorry. I didn't know if you guys could hear that. No, yeah, I think obviously I kind of consider that to be life after what she said. How, honestly,
what is that?
It's a kid stomping. Pick up your feet. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely would be wondering about kids. And like she said, the moving thing too, I think was really important because everyone lives in different states. So
location.
Yeah. But I don't know. I felt that it probably does get talked about with certain couples, but not so much with others, because it depends on like, you know, how physically attracted they are to each other. So,
what was that conversation? Snipped or not snipped? Like what?
well, that you could just wait. What? Hold on.
Yeah.
Are we in different pages?
Okay. Yeah, I meant that.
Okay.
So after the little JoJo conversation, we get Zach reading the date card. It says, Ivan, our love is timeless. Love, Tayshia. So Ivan really seems to like Tayshia a lot. And they do have seemingly a sweet relationship. And I think we talked about this last week, Tanya, that it seems a little bit more puppy lovey. It doesn't seem like the relationship that is going to be like husband wifey, you know, it just seems like a nice relationship that they have. And so Ivan gets the first one-on-one overnight date. And I feel really bad because it's so hot in La Quinta. Like Ivan's freaking sweating when they meet up. What are your overall thoughts, Tanya, if you want to go first, about the Ivan and Tayshia date? Do you remember what happened on it?
To be honest with you, it's pretty unmemorable to me. But what I do recall is being really confused why his fantasy suite was like an RV or whatever that situation was, and not a room. That's like I felt like they did him very dirty with that setup. That was.
I have a little bit of insight to that, actually.
The ice bath date, though, too. Like,
the ice.
a world record.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Wait, I trauma blocked it out. Okay, that was really, really weird because I feel like there's no way it could have actually been that cold because isn't it so hot there? And secondly, like, oh, what an awkward thing to have to do with anybody. Even if you love someone so much and you love kissing them, holding a kiss like that for that long is like just weird and uncomfortable. And there's no way to like make that romantic or fun. It's just like discomfort. And
this is the second or third time Bachelor's done this though. Like they love having world records broken on the show. They did it 2 seasons ago, like after I think it was like they had like I think maybe it was Hannah Brown season. They had a kiss like outside of like a concert venue, like the longest kiss or something like that. So they've done it before. So I think they're trying to be the show with the most world record breaks. After the world record.
Do people still do world records? Like I remember like when I was younger, growing up, you get like the book and be like, oh, longest fingernails, like, you know, like just, you know, you look up like some weird world records, but I didn't know that it really was an active thing other than the Bachelor and Bachelorette franchise. I do remember Carly and Evan doing the hottest kiss. Do you remember Bachelor in Paradise?
Yeah, like eating a pepper or whatever and then kissing or something like that.
Kiss was like gross.
But also, it's not fair. Like, I think just going back to like even what this date was and the setup for it with the ice bath and then the not fantasy suite, these were so unbalanced. Like, how is that on the same level of like romantic as going ring shopping with someone? Like, it's not even close. Like, it's not even close to the same type of experience. So it felt very like unfair that it played out that way for him, because it's definitely not like inherently the most romantic situation that he could have been put in.
Well, and even literally cooling them off. You know what I mean? Like, cold isn't a sexy temperature.
Yeah.
Cold isn't like, unless you're getting kind of cuddly in a sleeping bag or something, like being shivering cold is not sexy. So I think that they're just kind of cooling down that date completely. Maybe it's, you know, she didn't want to have something that was too intimate because she felt as though he wasn't going to be the person that was going to be her husband. So she didn't want it to really develop in a sexual, like, passionate kind of way. Maybe. So maybe she's like, yeah, I want to have like a really friend-zoney kind of date with Ivan. They do make the world record though. So it was 6 minutes and 35 seconds. Their kiss was in the ice bath. And then like the nighttime, as you were saying, Tony, was the RV, and Son says some thoughts about the RV. My thoughts exactly: a blooming caravan. The writing was on the wall then.
So for Palm Springs and for La Quinta and Cathedral City, like all those areas, it's really popular to rent those in the middle of the desert. Like those are all over Airbnb. So I think they were trying to play into the theme of the season and like where it was, because my friends and I have rented one before. It was a little bit bigger, but like I think, I don't know, I still thought it was like really lame, especially when she has like the El Presidente suite. But I don't know.
It's not a fantasy.
No, it's not
It's not a fantasy suite.
Yeah, like
playing into the whole like Palm Springs aesthetic, like summertime. Like
you think that they would change the septic tank with her for their date? You know what I mean? Like that's how like friend zone that date was.
Literally.
Yeah, I think if it was like a setup for if she chose her final two on her terms, I guess a bit more. If you take the Brendan out of the equation, she would have picked Brendan over Ivan to stay, I think. So I think it was very much like that date of like, she's not really going to pick this person, so we're going to give him this date and call it a day.
And just once he said that they like sat outside watching the sunrise, like I'm sure they were having really nice conversations, but I didn't see that like after fantasy suite glow that you see with some of them.
No, and like on their nighttime date, he does say that he is falling in love with her, and she does say that she is falling in love with him as well. I think that she probably was being truthful there, but this was like their relationship hasn't progressed to that next level yet. Between this whole thing though, so Brendan gets a date card and he reads, "Let's explore each other." And you hear Zach getting his best Matthew McConaughey impersonation going on, saying, all right, all right, all right, all right. Pretty excited for this date. Brendan is not happy about this date. So this is like kind of the first time we really start seeing Brendan seeming to want to get out of being with Tayshia. Saying that he doesn't want to see the person that he's with, like dating someone else. What do you think about this beginning evolution of, Brendan's feelings about being on The Bachelorette? Tanya.
I'm confused. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of confused about the way this all played out, even in the edit as well, because he got the first one-on-one, so it's like a pretty important thing to get. And then he's continuously like still had good conversations and connections with her. Like even when she met his family, met his family and everything, like that all went really well. So it did seem like kind of a really drastic pivot, I suppose, that I didn't really understand. I kind of wish we got a bit more context into what was going on. I did listen to him on Rachel and Becca's podcast, and Rachel basically took him to task to be like, why were you doing the show when you know like what you're moving towards? Like when you accept a rose every week, like you know what that is. So why are you staying? And his justification was like, I was just trying to see if I could get there each week and see if I could cultivate that, which take it or leave it as an excuse. Like it is what it is. But I think maybe he was trying to and just couldn't get there. And then this is the time to hit the panic button, like before it gets to an actual fantasy suite moment, or even worse, like you're standing there and not going to propose to her.
What a weird date. I was actually angry that they did that with Neil Lane. I think that was so stupid.
Very uncomfortable. He was clearly very uncomfortable.
Being apprehensive. And so I think that they were definitely playing into that.
Here's your chance.
Maybe they knew that he was probably going to leave, and so they wanted to make it the most dramatic, ring shopping quit.
I mean, you could see on his face, like he was not ready for that at all.
Though, with him going, talking to Rachel Lindsay, though, so I was feeling the whole Brendan evolution of this episode and out. It reminded me of Rachel and Peter. And so Rachel, like, and Peter, I really liked their chemistry. I thought he was really good looking. Like, I wanted them to be together. They didn't really show that much about her and Brian's like love story, really. So insofar as the audience didn't even believe that she loved Brian, and so they were coming for Rachel, being like, you should have chose Peter. Like, why are you not going with your heart? Whatever. So they had that really emotional breakup scene, and that we remember. But the fact is that Peter was doing the same thing, saying that he didn't want to actually do the proposal thing, and maybe we come out with a girlfriend. But it's also speculated heavily that he wanted to be the Bachelor. And so do you think that this could have been Brendan's ploy again? And the fact that he liked Tayshia, I don't think they knew that. Did they know Matt James was going to be the Bachelor at this point?
Yeah,
I think so, because I feel like I've known Matt James is gonna be Bachelor longer than I knew Claire was gonna be Bachelorette. I don't know why I feel like that.
Well, regardless, like, it just seems as though staying on the show for longer, I think it was for getting some sort of publicity, getting some sort of fandom, fame, or whatnot. Like, he's a model, right? So.
Well, yeah.
It reminded me of a similar situation to Rachel and Peter.
Do you think then, because I feel like this is happening more and more, like within the last few years at least, do you think that they'll take the proposal part of it or make that like optional at the end? Because I feel like that is just so unrealistic to get engaged after, you know what I mean? So I feel like more people are like Cassie or whoever else, like they just didn't want to do that step. But
she did not want to even do the girlfriend thing, but I really feel that she just got like, oh, okay, fine. Like, I don't think that she wanted to play girlfriend to Colton, but she just like, whatever, I'll do it for a bit for Instagram followers. Like, I do feel.
But they'll always find people that will do it. So I think it'll always be like that end result, because they can always push people to get there, even if it's manipulated. But I don't get the vibe from Brendan that he was trying to be the Bachelor per se. I think the thing is he just probably got caught off guard. He felt like a fish out of water from the beginning with the Claire season. He didn't think he was going to make it past night one. He stayed. It's like a clusterfuck for him. He's a roofer. Like, he's like living his truth and like doing his thing. He's been married before. And then I think he just got caught off guard by Tayshia. I do think he really had feelings for her, but also, like, as you get further along, I can understand why you would grow more and more apprehensive. And people had problems with Peter when he did this too. And I get it, because it is the purpose of the show. But also, like, to me, that's a way more mature and realistic way of looking at it, to be like, yeah, I really like you, but I'm not going to, like, do something that I don't feel deep down is what I'm ready to do. Like, this show can't make you do that. So I kind of respect it too, because then you're not lying to yourself or to that person at the end of the day. You're like, I gotta stop. Should he have stayed that long? I don't know.
At that point though, for me, because like I really liked them together, as many people did.
Yeah.
And this we can maybe be a question for later, but do you think that if he said to Tayshia, like, I really want to get there with you, but I'm not ready to make that proposal, and you understand why, but I want to be with you, do you think that he would have gotten the final rose and then they just have like a promise ring type thing? Or do you think that she would have said no and gone with Zach?
I think she would have picked Brendan.
I think it's hard to say, because for me, the fantasy suite portion with Zach is what solidified to me like that actually was like maybe the strongest relationship there. Because before that, I still, obviously she really liked him and everything went well up until this point. His family was lovely, all of that stuff. But like, this was not even a question of who she had the best fantasy suite date with. It was with Zach, period. Like, it was just like so clear. So I'm wondering if there was always that depth, or if it just appears that way in contrast to what happened with Brendan. I'm not sure, because I would have thought she would have chosen Brendan at the end if we didn't see that fantasy suite with Zach go like so successfully.
Right. Well, and maybe if like the producers didn't have a heads up that he wasn't feeling it enough to propose, like maybe if they changed the type of dates as well. might have changed the results as well. So back to the RV. Hi, Ross. How are you? So, hey, guys, ironically, she used to own the same kind of RV with her ex-husband.
Another disadvantage to having an RV.
The producers couldn't do a little bit of research.
Oh, they did. Maybe they did that on purpose. So it says, Paul knew how that ended with her ex. LOL.
Jesus, they're savage.
So Ross says, no, she said she was falling for him, not falling in love with him. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. What did I write down? Maybe I wrote that down. Oh, yeah, I did write that down, that he said falling in love with her and she said falling for him. Sam says, for some reason, Zach became a little attractive. Whoa, only because of the way that he was interacting with Tayshia, not looks.
Yeah.
Still not my cup of tea, but
that's a strong head nod there coming from you, Tanya.
I do think he's attractive. I mean, okay, physical attractiveness aside, which we've always said with Zach, we're all like, I don't really see it, but the depth that he has is attractive. I think he's mature. I think he's really supportive of her. He really compliments her well, and I think it's genuine. So to me, that is attractive. I think, and he became infinitely more attractive over the course of these last 2 episodes. Holy, what a strong finish.
Just still talking a little bit about Ivan's date. In the morning in front of the IV, they were talking about what I think is the most controversial topic is honeydew or melon or neither. So I have my strong opinions of this one here. I feel like it's a very divisive one. Brazil, how do you feel about melons and honeydews?
I mean, they're definitely the most vanilla of the fruits.
Do you like them?
I mean, if they're in my little fruit cocktail at breakfast, I'll eat them, but I'm not going to go buy one from the grocery store and cut it open.
Okay. Tanya, your thoughts?
Okay, so I'm Mediterranean, and therefore I have a strong love of melon, a cantaloupe, the orange one. Honeydew, to me, I could do without it. Usually not my choice in the fruit platter, but I love melon. I love cantaloupe. So good.
I can understand that. The whole prosciutto wrapped melon thing is a pretty Mediterranean staple. I understand that. I actually despise honeydew and melon. I think that they both taste like soap. It's I like watermelon. Watermelon's obviously tasty if it's not grainy. I do not eat the melons when they're in my fruit cocktail at breakfast. I only eat the grapes, and I think that it's really gross. So, okay, interesting. I got to know you guys both a little more deeply here right now. This is our one-on-one overnight date right now. So you won't be having any honeydew or melon with me most likely, unless I made something for you, Tanya. I'd make it.
Okay. I mean, I don't usually purchase it, but I like it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't buy too much effort to cut.
You have to have other people living with you that also like melon in order to buy one at the grocery store. Otherwise,
I've never purchased one. I don't even know how I would. I guess you just cut it in sections, cut it
in half, and then cut each half in half.
Gross.
It's a process.
Not
a watermelon. It takes you have to really carve that thing up. But
and I also probably don't know when it's ripe or whatever as well. You tap the top, and if it's hollow, it's rotten. I don't know if it's right. But anyways, I don't eat them. I don't really like them. It's not, they're not the melon of my choice. So Sans also has a comment here. Yes, defo, she's more attracted to Brendan. I'm secretly hoping she ends up with him sometime in the future.
Me too.
Oh boy. You guys you're not shipping Zach and Tayshia?
No, I am, well, a little bit, because I think a lot of the reason why she picked him too is because she was contemplating moving to New York. He already lives in New York. So that's an easy, but Brendan also lives in Boston. It's not that far from New York. So maybe she's just going there, wait for Brendan, and then.
I don't know about that. Because I think she would have chosen Brendan if he said, let's wait, because she was also scared of engagement. I think, actually, now that I think about it, I think that Zach made her feel safe with choosing him.
Yeah.
think that Brendan she always had like a little bit of doubt because of the fact of his background and history and him being a little bit more hesitant, a little bit more shy, a little bit less like forward with his feelings for her. And so I actually don't think that she would have chosen Brendan in the end because he doesn't offer her that security of future.
That's fair.
Hi, Lainey. How are you? Or is it Ilani? Ilani, maybe? I'm eating grapes with Swiss cheese right now. So good. I've never had grapes and Swiss cheese together before. Have you had that combo? Any other of you? I mean, obviously, like
cheese and grapes are good. Yeah.
I like cheese and grapes, but I'm not a huge Swiss cheese fan. I like Gruyere, but Swiss.
I don't often have Swiss, but cheese and grape, good combo. Yeah. I prefer cheese and grape over melon and prosciutto, personally. Yeah. Sorry, Tanya. I guess we're not dating. And Zach is not attractive. That's a period, by the way. I agreed. Do you like Swiss cheese and grapes? I would try it, but I don't particularly buy it or do it on a regular. But nuts, cheese, like
charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Give it all to me.
If it ends up in my mouth together, it's not escape. Oh, you missed the great debate, Brazil. The great debate being, would you put blueberries on your cream cheese bagel?
Yeah, why not?
You do? Like that's like a regular thing.
I've had blueberry cream cheese, so I don't see the difference. I guess I wouldn't put it on like a savory bagel. If it was just a plain bagel, yeah. But if it was like an everything bagel, no. But I've had strawberry cream cheese or blueberry cream cheese and like on a plain bagel with like honey, and it's really good. So I think if I'm just chewing it and my mouth is the same as if it was blended prior, I don't know.
Would it be something that you're like, oh, you know what? We have some blueberries here. Let me put it on my plain cream cheese bagel.
Like if I was there, would I have done that? I like savory more so than sweet, so I would have definitely gone savory. But if I was feeling in a sweet mood and they didn't have flavored cream cheese, yeah, maybe.
Well, Michelle was saying that she loves a blueberry bagel, right, with cream cheese and bacon.
And bacon, yeah.
Ooh, it sounds so good. Oh my god, that's like a 3 a.m. meal for me.
That sounds pretty good. I do like sweet and savory.
I do too.
If it's a good combination, you know.
Usually anything with bacon is just fine.
I haven't had bacon in like 10 years, which is really interesting. Ross says, Zach has become more attractive in today's interview, though. I haven't seen any interviews. Have you guys seen any interviews after the final rose?
I have not.
No, just on Tayshia's social media, she has some videos, and it's cute.
I will be doing some research after this for sure. So just to kind of conclude Ivan's date, he feels like he's ready that he could propose. They get back to, I don't know, the guys' lounge area where they're hanging out. I don't know if it's still Chateau Benet, but they get back there. Ivan gets back to Brendan and Zach, and they kind of talking a bit. He seemed very happy, and the guys are kind of probing him a little bit. He wasn't really giving, but it's like, we really got to know each other better, blah, blah, blah. And he seemed happy, and I felt really bad because I was like, he's going to get his little heart broken.
I think he'd be a good bachelor.
I agree.
I think he just is such like a sweet soul. I think he's a little, I think he's older than most of them, other than Ari.
26.
But, yeah, Ivan's a total catch. Like, he's fantastic. He's shown himself to be a really awesome person on this show. And
I would never date him, but I think he'd make a lot of girls happy. I would never date him. He's too nice for me. Like, I need someone that's mean.
I like Ivan, but I just don't see him being able to carry the show. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's just quite soft-spoken, very kind, very nice. Make a great partner, great husband eventually to the right person, but I can't see him juggling 30 women that are all like, the dynamic for me, it's not there for the Bachelor. I
mean, there's been so many shitty bachelors that I think he can definitely do it better than like Peter.
Oh my
or
god.
Like any of these fools. So I'd rather see him have articulate conversations with people than like live through another Peter experience.
That might be the worst bachelor in history, honestly.
You are correct. What were we judging all the past bachelors on last week, Tanya?
We just realized that they were all terrible. I think that was what it was. I was like, remember we've had like so many bad ones, and then we started going back and we were like, oh, they're all, at least of the recent ones,
within like the last few years, it's been awful.
yeah,
Except for, like
so
Ben Higgins. I think Ben Higgins is the only one I've liked.
that was the last one that we said like was even presented likably. Everyone else has just been like shitty, actually. Like Colton, Ari, Peter.
This is my sentiment as well, Ross. Ivan is 28 and he lacks swagger. Yeah, I don't want him to be the Bachelor. I agree with that. Like, there's something. He's a lovely person, but I want somebody that like has a little bit of gravitas, you know, a little bit of like oomph, a little bit of like fight and fire and feistiness, you know, a little bit. So, yeah, he wouldn't be my pick for Bachelor, but in terms of what you're saying, Tanya, like he might be a more interesting Bachelor than what we've had so far. Because like the other people wouldn't have been my pick. Mm-hmm. I would have preferred Peter over other Peter. Mm-hmm. Like Rachel's Peter would have been, in my opinion, a better Bachelor. What do you think about that guy Luke? Not Luke P, but from before that, the one that dated
JoJo.
Yes, but also I was gonna say dated Holly from.
Oh, ew, gross.
I don't want anybody that's trying to be a country singer to be the Bachelor. Sorry to anybody who is a fan of male country singers. I don't want it at all, and especially after the jet of it all, I don't want to see it in my life.
No dog food jingles, no country singers.
No country singers. They are historically bad on The Bachelor. James Taylor, come on. We don't want it.
Sam's not vibing with Ivan either. So he doesn't hold that sex appeal. And that's probably what also happened or didn't happen in the fantasy suite. Do you think that they went all the way and she wasn't vibing with them? Or you don't?
Chance. No way.
They may be touched, but that's it.
I'm wondering if he did something to worship the devil in the fantasy suite that evoked such a strong reaction later. I'm like, what's whoa?
Yeah, did we miss something? Because I felt like I missed something.
I think maybe their conversation, because they always did have really great conversations and it just did seem to flow super easily with them. I think maybe he just was excited to finally have that, and they have bonded over stuff over the course of the show. So I think maybe this could be a problem for him in real life too, that he gets friend zoned and doesn't realize it. I don't know.
Well, because he talks to the guys when he comes back about we watched the sunrise, and they're commenting oh, you didn't sleep, which implies maybe that some hanky panky was going on. No,
not in the trailer when everyone can see it rocking. Go in a hotel room with a bed,
And I don't think she really was super attracted to him at the end of the day. We did have someone comment on the videos from last week, Beatrice, shout out, because she had some really great comments on there that everyone should read. Just basically talking about the fact that Tayshia's not attracted to Black guys. And that's honestly, I think, part of it for sure. Yeah. I think she likes him. I think she thinks that she's open to it, but the history of her experience is not that way. So I do think that's a factor that they're not going to discuss as explicitly as this religion thing that comes up later. It's just inherently, it's not from a bad place, but I just don't think that she's attracted to him in that way. And
or has been in a relationship with a person of color.
Yeah, her history is not that way. So they're both, and these are the points that Beatrice made in the comments again, said very well. It's just it doesn't set either person up well, because somebody's forced to break a bias or start to change the way that they have done everything leading up until that point. It's not realistic that she's gonna pick that person at the end of the day. It's not.
Yeah, and so, it's I feel you're attracted to who you're attracted to.
Yeah.
So.
Whoa, okay, so Ross says no reality. Steve said he is not religious.
Yeah, no, he's not religious. He's not religious.
What is that in reference
for her?
I think however, the breakup.
Oh.
Yeah. So it comes actually in the next episode, but
Yeah, exactly.
I must have missed that. Whoops.
Okay, so Brendan wants to hear about this date, but he actually doesn't want to hear it. Like, is he just saying that for the camera? Like, I was just kind of like, I felt like he knew by this point that he wasn't going to marry her, at least by these fantasy suite dates. And like, is he that into her, or is he just playing it up for the camera? Like, I don't know. I just kind of was like confused by why he didn't want to hear about Ivan's date when he was going to break up with her, or he wasn't going to get engaged to her anyways.
Ego.
I mean, it can still be hard to see, even if he knew that wasn't going to happen.
I think he really did like her, but he just wasn't ready for all that. Like, I don't think The Bachelor is the right show for him.
Why do you think he came on it? I don't know.
I'm happy he did. He was so fun to look at. He was my favorite.
He was saying on that other podcast that like he hadn't actually really been single for that much time in his life, because I guess he was probably just in relationships from a young age, and then got married young. So I think he apparently got recruited, or not recruited, but got scouted on Instagram or whatever. If the opportunity arises, why not, right?
Yeah, especially if like, you know, I mean, I knew he was never going to work with Claire, but
yeah,
maybe he didn't think it would either. I think Tanya's right, like that he probably was like taken aback when Tayshia came, because that is someone that's his type. That is someone that like he was actually like attracted to and could possibly see a future with. But when it all hit him in the face, he just wasn't ready. I don't know.
Good question, Ross. Good question. Do you think that Brendan will be on Bachelor in Paradise?
No.
I think yes.
I think yes.
I think no.
I think yes. I don't think he's gonna say no to like Bachelor in Paradise.
That
His
was
inbox is probably being blown up right now. His DMs are probably being blown up right now by like all these girls in Bachelor Nation trying.
That was already filmed, yeah. It had to have been.
Bachelor in Paradise has not been filmed
in
yet.
the summertime.
What?
Bachelor in Paradise.
No, I know. I don't know. Oh my God. I thought we hadn't seen. Never mind.
I don't even know what you mean.
I don't either. Just.
Well, anyways, Bachelor in Paradise has not happened as of yet. They're probably going to wait until after Matt James's season to do it for next summer, is what my thoughts are in that regard.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. You could just edit that out. It was dumb.
Well, we're live, so that can't happen. I do think that he will go on Bachelor in Paradise because I think he likes the attention. Anybody does. He may have had a little bit more growth and like maybe healed a little bit more since. It's kind of like the Dean thing. Like Dean comes on to Bachelor in Paradise, he's just the hot commodity, and he wasn't really looking for a long-term relationship, but he ended up with Kaylin, and they seem to be having a good life together, hanging out all the time. Like they're in a pretty strong relationship. I don't know if he'll get married, but you know, I think that he was able to find someone that was able to allow him to be wherever he was and continue on in a relationship. So I think he would say yes in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're feeling Zach now, but I'm still not vibing with him. When he's talking about his date coming up with Tayshia, he's just talking about like, can't wait to like explore each other. And like, I don't know, the way that he was saying explore really just sounded too much about the picturing him, imagining them having sex. And like, it kind of grossed me out. Did you guys have the same thoughts? Or is it just me?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
express ourselves with our bodies. I can't wait to explore and explore and explore and explore. Like, I feel like a mom.
Tell me how you really feel.
Didn't want to hear this as well. Yeah. Anyways, I wasn't really interested in this, but we got to watch it. So they have to paint themselves and roll around on a canvas for their date. How would you feel about this date, Brazil?
I just wanted to know what the paint was made of, first and foremost. That was like, it's all in their mouth. Like, what is it made of? It's got to be like, I don't know. That was literally the only thing I kept thinking the whole time.
What I was thinking was like, man, is that purple paint going to stain her skin? Like, how is she going to get ready for the night version? Is she going to look like Ursula?
It looked like it was going to for a minute when she was in the shower. I was like, it's not coming off her leg. Oh my God.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I said I was kind of grossed out. I had a cringe face. I was like this the whole time, like, and wondering if it was going to stain. They talk about their name is going to be, or no, the name of their painting is going to be Clarky and the Queen.
Oh, because his last name's Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Clarky?
Clarky.
I didn't really care for this date, even though I probably would like it in my real life to doing like a painting date and like not care about getting messy. I just felt it was a little bit like they were just, look how much fun we have together. We're just so free, paint, like just a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite date.
So she plans on being intimate with him later, apparently. But one thing that he mentioned that I thought was a red flag in my eyes is that he says that Tayshia has brought a newfound spark to him, a new electricity to him, and it's kind of like she has plugged him in. Now, I do appreciate the fact that she's lit him up and like kind of allowed him to see a different part of himself, but it makes me worried that he'll become codependent on her, especially with his past history with dependency on certain substances. So, Tanya, what do you think about, the fact that it seems as though Tayshia might be his new kind of drug, we'll say?
I don't see it that way at all. I think it's more so that he has done a lot of self-work over the years. Clearly, he's gone through what he's gone through. And when you're in a place where you've worked on yourself, I think then you open up the opportunity to meet someone who does let you up in that way. So I think it's just an awakening to me. I'm not dubious of it at all. And I actually think he's being genuine, especially again, as things progress. I think it's just like that awareness that when you work on yourself and you feel good about where you're at and you've progressed in your life and you're in a place that you're proud of, then when you do meet somebody, it's like that light bulb moment where you just kind of feel like, it's happened to me before. If I meet someone that I feel like, is my partner, you change, right? It brings a really beautiful like side out of you. So I think that's what's happening here. And I buy it. I don't think that he's phony at all. I think he's like very, very real seeming.
Yeah,
I agree with Tanya.
Go ahead, Brazil. Sorry.
I said I think I kind of agree with Tanya.
I agree with what you're saying for sure. There's something for me that I'm not buying. There's something. And I don't think that it's that he doesn't love her. I don't think that doesn't feel what he's feeling. I guess maybe I'm still worried that maybe he hasn't done all the work. Maybe is what I'm nervous about.
I don't know. He seems like pretty actualized. I think it's like how do I phrase it? I think the way he held space for her and the way that he was the least afraid of what her response would be to anything that he said. Because he was not afraid to just be like, you know what? I just got to be honest and say what I have to say. And then it wasn't like he was hanging on every word she says when she talks to Ben or Ivan or Brendan. It's like they're all like so on edge of like what's going to happen. He seems very self-assured. So I don't think that he would be dependent, though I think he's very much like falling in love and feeling all the whims of that right now. So his level's very high.
Oh, so Ross says that, wait, hold on, this one. Yeah, she just posted on Insta with that caption, what, Clarky and the Queen? I'm assuming? Okay, and Ross also says that Zach's ex-wife actually implied that. Implied what?
Implied what?
Implied what, Ross?
I think back to Chantel's point, I think was when Ross had commented that.
Oh, that she became his light and that she wasn't able to fulfill like.
Yeah, I think that's what they're referring to. I could be wrong.
I mean, I definitely want, this is just me speculating from what I'm seeing on the show. I want her to be happy and I want him to be happy as well. So if I'm completely wrong, like that's great. Like
and I think too, like coming from her perspective, at least it's nice knowing that someone's gone like pretty much to hell and back and then can still be like, she could still be that attracted to him. And I feel like it just shows that he's been able to weather certain things in life that none of the other guys potentially have. And that, maybe I don't know. She I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think that it's not necessarily like a bad thing that he sees her as like that light. I mean, there's always a risk, like if you're addict.
Clarified by saying implied that having I guess a relationship or partner with a recovered addict is hard. Okay, I mean, I don't know what that's going to be like, but I think that I might be projecting from what I've heard in other people's relationships, and just hope that that's not how it follows through with them. Okay. So Sam says that the girls on Chicks in the Office claim that Zach may have been lying about not cheating before for the lie detector. So maybe there's really is something off about that. Oh boy.
I'm just wondering if people would be as dubious of him if they took the context out of addiction completely out of it entirely, you know? I think obviously, again, it's something that's stigmatized, and I don't think it would be easy to have a relationship with someone who has struggled with that for sure, but also like people grow and move forward and continue to change and evolve. So I'm curious if everyone would feel this way if we didn't know that about him. Would it read differently?
I think so.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have red flag antennas going up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right now, that's part of like my filtering system is like what I think could happen with somebody in being in a relationship with someone that had that history. So
yeah,
I would probably be reading the signs completely differently if I didn't have that piece of information. 100%. So, you know, he says his number one, number two is number one, I'm in love with this girl, and number two, how am I even worthy of this? Which, I mean, that's great. Like, it's nice to know that when people realize that they're worthy of love. I think that's something that millions of people don't allow themselves to feel worthy of love. That's why probably a lot of us are been single for long periods of time, is because of the fact that, you know, there's a sense of worthy of love, worthy of the job that you want, worthy of the life that you want to live. Self-worth is something that I think prevents a lot of us from getting the life that we deserve or we desire. And so I am happy though that he just like, how am I worthy of this? I think it's a nice sentiment to say, because I want him to know that he is worthy of that kind of love. You know what I mean? And I think that that's where the growth might be coming in, is like knowing that he's worthy of it. So yeah. I'm coming up on him a little bit as the dates have been going on in the last two episodes. I'm definitely liking him a little bit more. So what he loves about Tayshia, and something that I respect about her too, is that she always says yes to things. And this is kind of what he brings up to her that he really likes about her. And I think it's a really great thing to like about her. Anything else about their little beginning of their actual like dinner part of their date that you got that stands out? Actually, well, I have something. To me, what they was drinking some pink champagne. I love, you know, rosé, sparkling rosé. That's a very Canadian summer staple. I have a glass of rosé pretty much every day, sparkling. In the summer. I go to Spanish tapas. They always give you little coupes with sparkling rosé. Do you guys do that? I mean, like, obviously you're in California. You probably have a gazillion wines that are readily available over there. But are you a sparkling rosé girl, Brazil?
I'll dabble. Yeah, I don't really like sweet, so
it's not sweet.
No, yeah, that's why I have to get like brut if I do get any champagne. And then rosé, yeah, like if it's like really dry, then I like it, and like not sweet. But
it can be.
I've had some pink champagnes that were just like straight cotton candy, and I was like, oh my god, I can't do it. But yeah, definitely like drink for like a brunch if I'm not drinking mimosas, because that's my kryptonite. But I like.
Are you a sparkling champagne or pink champagne, Tanya? I love it.
I like champagne. I'm a wine person. If I'm gonna do wine, usually like a white wine, but I'll do a rosé. And I like a champagne for like a celebratory moment or like just a nice mimosa journey.
100%.
All the mimosas.
I do love mimosas. Hopefully, like
have you seen the TikToks with they're like, this, if you don't make my mimosa like this, get the fuck out. And it was like 3 glasses of champagne and the spray bottle of orange juice. And
well, it's true though. Like I've worked in a lot of restaurants where they want to do it half and half. Of like nobody that's not. It's like, nobody wants that. Like they just want maybe like this much, like half an ounce of orange juice. But yeah, I love a good mimosa and I love a good sparkling rosé. So Canadian summers. So she does say though, Zach loves me and I love Zach. And so this is the only person, if I'm not mistaken, that she's actually said back that she loves him.
Yes.
And then I was like, okay. So she does.
Yeah. That was when I was like, oh, like that was when it really hit me that maybe we're not fully understanding like how much she actually really liked him, if not more than Brendan this entire time, which I guess we've kind of been getting over the more recent episodes. But that solidified it for me.
Yeah, me too. I was just like, oh, okay, let me look at this completely differently. Because like from the previews, I was like, and we kind of knew that Brendan might not be staying, and you know, seeing her doing a lot of like crying in her to her hands and stuff like that. I thought that Brendan was going to make it to the end and then maybe say no, and she was going to cry and she wasn't going to end up with anybody, or you know what I mean? Like that's where I thought it was kind of going. But when she said this, I was like, oh. Whoa, this is completely different than they got me. They got me. And also my tarot reading got me because like I think I was saying that like I didn't think that she was going to pick anybody. So I want to go re-listen to what I said and see what the cards do. Because the cards don't usually lie, but my interpretation can always be skewed by my own perception, right? So I do want to see what cards I had and see if it actually could place out this narrative. Yeah. Or maybe this narrative hasn't completed yet. Who knows? So yeah, she loves the human being he loves the human being that she is, which I do too. Like I do think that she's a good catch. Some of the bachelorettes, I'm like, okay, she was dumped by the previous bachelor, and you know, has a little bit of a sob story, but I didn't really care for them as people. I do enjoy watching Tayshia's journey here. Let's go maybe a little more in depth though into Brendan's ring date. We talked about it in the beginning, you know. Basically, they're going ring shopping, or they're looking at earrings first, whatever, with Neil Lane, and then they start bringing out the rings and the engagement rings, and he was obviously feeling very uncomfortable, and she kind of was brushing it off, but like I think that she noticed his vibe wasn't really good. Anything else you want to bring up about Brendan's date, either this part or they never even made it to the fantasy portion, right?
No, they only made it to dinner.
Any other thoughts about it?
It just made me sad. I don't know. I was like, and when I was watching it, and like her reaction to it made me think, I don't know. I really thought, I didn't think she was going to end up with anyone. She just looks so gutted. But I think you're right about maybe the producers knowing that he was starting to get apprehensive, and then we're like, okay, here's your chance to like, you know, be like, I don't want to be engaged at least, or like, you know, have that conversation. So it did seem to be the perfect segue for him to do so, but it just kind of all came out of nowhere. Like, I don't know. It left not a bad taste in my mouth, like towards Brendan, but just in general, I was just so confused and like, I don't know.
She was able to kind of just be very articulate about it and like almost like not emotionless. She had emotion about it, but she was like, you know, normally I'd be pissed if this happened to me, but she really like leveled with him and understood, I guess, why he was doing what he was doing, which I thought was really mature of her. She could have been really pissed off. Like he came all this way. She invested a lot of time in him. He accepted all the roses. He, you know, she met his family. Like she could have been really pissed that he decided to step away at this point.
I probably would have been, because she even mentions after their first date that she said, I could marry this guy. And I think she said it twice in her season that Brendan was someone that she could see herself marrying. So I feel like she always saw him at the end. And I was surprised that she was able to contain herself for him kind of just crashing that fantasy down. But it probably is, well, I don't know if it was taped out of order or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like,
You don't know when.
Pardon?
I said
I don't know when it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it was taped in that order, then she would have known that she had more feelings for Zach.
Zach,
if
yeah.
it wasn't, that maybe Zach became a happy surprise. You know what I mean? About like how, I don't know. It's hard to say
Yeah.
the order. Dolores is in the house. Yes, it is. Her face lights up. Hi, girls. Hi, Dolores. I think she was talking about with Zach, I'm assuming, or with Brendan before he basically dumped her.
It's just interesting because when you take the drama out of it, then it was like very anticlimactic for him to kind of leave in that way, even though this would normally be like the most dramatic thing that happens in an episode like this. The lead breaks down, like there's like some kind of like big dramatic thing, but it just was like not that way at all. So that was surprising.
Do you guys think Brendan would have left the same way he did if he didn't have that engagement ring Neil Lane pre-date?
No, I think he would. Well, I think he would have maybe not gone to the next level in the fantasy suite. Like, I don't think that he would have done that.
I think he would have declined to go to the fantasy suite, and then they would have that conversation at the dinner. I think.
So you think no matter what, he was going to end it at that point?
I think he wouldn't want to sleep with her or like go in a situation where he could potentially be intimate with her if he knew that he wasn't going to be able to go to the very end and like actually get down on one knee or whatever.
That's what I would take. I don't know. If I were him, I would at least minimum go to the fantasy suite and use that time to talk to her about that and then see how she felt about it. But maybe he didn't really feel that way. Like maybe it really wasn't there for him, so he didn't feel the need to. But if he did feel that strongly about her, I would have taken that time to maybe explain it a little bit better and like just talk about things that like aren't necessarily going to be seen by camera. But that's what makes me think he just really wasn't feeling it at the end, I guess.
Tinfoil hat here. So do you think that maybe he was worried that because he wasn't going to be able to get there, even though he might have wanted to be with Tayshia, that he kind of made it so that she would break up with him so that he wouldn't get the egg in his face if she chose Zach or whatever? Like, do you think that maybe he was just kind of like trying to control his own fate here? Be like, okay, well, I'm going to say this, so I know that she's going to break up with me here, and I don't have to go to a rose ceremony where she actually gives the rose to somebody else. Do you think that might have played a part of it?
You think like in fear of her choosing someone over him at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. I mean, I'm sure I felt that way about other people in previous seasons, so I didn't feel that way about him, but I think it's a possibility.
So Cassandra says, hi, Cassandra. People are so judgmental about Zach's past, though. He's been sober for 10 years. Just from my perspective, I have had some people in my life that I've had to deal with that I love and care about that have had addiction issues, and a few of them have not. They've lost their lives. So I just do know that it's a struggle and it's an ongoing relationship that you'd have to have with them. And so, yes, I'm grateful that he's been sober for 10 years, but there is always a possibility of a relapse. Every single day is a new day. And so my hesitation definitely comes from having personal experience where I know that it can be a relapse and there can be a struggle. So that's from my perspective, and I can understand a lot of people having similar perspective because of people in their lives they've had to love through their addictions. So just wanted to say that. I want the best for Zach, absolutely. Who's paler than death?
Brendan.
I didn't notice.
Oh yeah, he looked like he saw a fucking ghost.
I wish I could see Zach's reaction when she repeatedly says, I wanted Brendan since day one. Oh, yeah. They better not watch that together, though.
I mean,
I think, honestly, that's what's crazy. I feel like anyone watching it back from this season would have been, like, probably thoroughly surprised at how close her and Brendan were. Because I don't think Brendan really probably let it on to any of the other guys. So I think it'll be a little bit of a shock for everyone that watches.
I also think we would like viewed Brendan as a front runner for so long because he was, but maybe his real purpose was, and she even said this to him, like to facilitate her vulnerability a bit more because he was the first person that she felt like she could actually like really see something with. And probably when you have somebody like that in a situation that's so uncertain, to be like, oh, maybe I actually am going to meet people that I like here. He was kind of like the catalyst for her to really open into the experience a bit more, but we thought it was end game. Really, it was more of like a door opening for what ended up happening. But
I hope that they don't watch it though, because I don't want Zach to be hurt by the fact that she had such strong feelings for him.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say about the Brendan breakup date to Rue?
Sad, but
yeah, wishing him well.
Wish him well. I do wish that he was ready enough to be in the relationship that we were all hoping that he was having with Tayshia. We kind of we all knew a few weeks ago that this was a potential ending, was that he was going to maybe not leave. And we didn't really see that coming, even though we knew that it was a high potentiality here.
Every week I was like, it was Chantele right? Was Chantele right? Was Chantele right? And then every week when it wasn't the case, I got so happy. And then, so I was a little like.
So yeah, I do wish that he came to this conclusion maybe a little bit sooner or whatnot, but this was her journey, and I'm hoping that she's happy with how things have ended up. So Sam says, I don't think, isn't it weird for guys to watch it back, especially the guys that had feelings for Tayshia? Yeah. They're just seeing them kiss her, multiple guys, and form connections. Yeah, I don't think that the guys can really get over it. That's one of the reasons why Sean and Caitlin broke up, was that he never was really able to get over the fact that, I don't know if it was just being intimate with Nick Viall, or if it was that she had intimate relationships with multiple people, but that was something that he could never get over, and it just kind of clouded their relationship until eventually they broke up. So yeah, I don't think that the guys should watch it back, because guys don't seem to be able to move past that as easily as the women seem to be able to, which you would not think would be the case.
Not at all.
You'd think it'd be opposite.
Oh, 100%.
Because Sam says, I was surprised she admitted that she saw Brendan at the end. I wasn't surprised that.
Wait, what? Saw Brendan at the end?
Like at the scene.
Like at the end of everything.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that Tayshia slept with Zach or Ivan in the fantasy suite? I think she slept with Zach. Because to being so sure about somebody, like they probably had a good time. I don't think she slept with Ivan. And she probably played it off as like, oh, like, we don't need to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that she probably didn't want to go to that level with him.
So like, yeah, the location of that sucked too. Like,
Ross says she almost slept with Zach on the canvas. Wow, I didn't really notice that. I couldn't really watch it, but
yeah, she almost did.
They're rolling around for sure. So the end of this episode, the cliffhanger of this episode is that she's at home and gets a little knockety knock on the door, and Ben returns. Now, did you or did you not think it was going to be Brendan?
I didn't think it was. I thought it was going to be Bennett.
Now, do you think that she thought it was going to be Brendan?
No, I said Bennett. No.
I wanted it to, I knew from the preview that it was going to be Ben, but I felt that she was hoping the knock was going to be Brendan.
Yeah. I'd be hoping that. I don't know. I did not like this at all.
You did not like it?
It's not great.
It honestly kind of made me a little angry. I don't know.
Go on. Interesting.
I don't see the point of bringing him back to cut him again. Like, maybe she did. If she had a better connection with Ben than she did Ivan from the beginning, then cut Ivan and keep Ben. I think it's easy for them to do that. It just seemed like, okay, one went home, let's replace with another. Like, why did you need three? And especially with someone that struggles with like depression and like suicide and stuff, like it just didn't seem in like good taste to put him through that again. even if there was like a small chance, like maybe she was telling the producers, like, I do really regret him leaving, like, then that's fine. But I knew that he never stood a chance even after coming back. So I think it kind of hurt a little bit. I don't know. I just didn't like it at all. I think it was poor judgment by the producers.
I can see that point for sure. I'm thinking because he comes in, he kept on wanting to hold her hand, which I thought was kind of awkward. And then she like gets up and she goes to talk to the producers, and she's seemingly a little bit upset. And I think that what ended up happening is that she knew that she liked Ben and she was more interested in a future with Ben over Ivan. Mm-hmm. And now Ben comes back into the picture and has Ivan there. Like, I think that she may have felt as though she wanted to give Ben a little bit more of a chance just to see, because she felt that she could get closer to there than she could with Ivan. So I think that they arranged basically a swapperoo.
Which, what season have 2 of the 3 that went to the fantasy suite not make it to the final contenders?
I think it was all orchestrated to make the finales have a bit more tension. Otherwise, it just would be like straight obvious as it already was. Because with Brendan Lee, the only like interesting final 2 where you would be like, gee, I wonder who's actually like going to end up with her would be if it was Brendan and Zach, the 2 people that have been the front runners this entire time. Once Brendan's gone, you can't do an Ivan and Zach finale with those fantasy suites when we already like it's a wrap. We already know how that's going to go. So I think once she eliminated Ivan, obviously everybody's still on the property because they're still at La Quinta. They're like, let's bring Ben in. He still feels unresolved, which I agree. Brazil is like super manipulative to like push him or convince him to like have this conversation with her, knowing everything that we discussed about what he's gone through, and like already like getting where he got and being dumped is enough. So it was just, I think, a last ditch save to make it more interesting at the end when the writing was on the wall in terms of her choosing Zach from like their fantasy suite date onward, pretty much.
So Cassandra says, I think that she thought it was going to be Brendan, and that's why she looked so annoyed with Ben. Maybe I can see that for sure. Sam says, laugh my ass off. I was dying when they were showing Ben in his white towel shirtless. I'm like, who are you trying to prove here, people?
That's a pre-Bachelor shot right there.
Yeah.
Wait, preparing to come and talk to Tayshia? I think I blocked it out, or I wasn't.
Like every Bachelor intro, they even showed it for Matt James. That is them in the shower. So I'm like, are they telling us, foreshadowing that Ben's going to be the new Bachelor?
I mean, I know that we kind of talked about this last week. Some people are saying that this is what the push seems to be, and that maybe that's why he wants to be the one that was in love with Tayshia, but then didn't get the girl because he wasn't able to say that I love you. And so that would be his journey for The Bachelor. That was kind of like a tinfoil hat that some people were presenting. I really don't see it though after this episode. I was like,
I mean, it furthers his case, I guess, because now he's really like gone through it. But I think it was, sure was first, but also she's already like had this conversation with him where she's like, this is, like, I need you to step it up, or I need you to say this or do that. Whether you think that she's trying to get too much from him or not, pushing that aside, she's already had a conversation where she's like, I need you to be direct with me about how you feel. So for him to again have like missed the opportunity to say that he loves her, and then comes in now after all of this and like everything that she's gone through with Brendan leaving and everything, breaking up with Ivan, I would be pissed too. Cause I'd be like, what the hell are we doing here? Come on.
Yeah, I definitely would be pissed. I would have been really annoyed. It's like, get out of here. Like, you should have said this when you had the floor. And it's like, you don't have the floor now. Now you're in my own time, my time where I'm thinking about other people. Like, I would have been really irritated. I wouldn't have let him stay. But we get left with a cliffhanger here. Cassandra says, I agree. It was stupid to have him back. I never thought that she was going to choose Ben over Zach. True.
Or Ben over Brendan. Like,
no.
Maybe Ben over Ivan, though.
Yeah.
Rachel's in the house. Hi, Rachel. Hello. Okay, so that's basically the end of episode 12. And then we get to the finale. It's going to be an emotional end to Tayshia's epic love story. So we're back to Ben waiting for Tayshia to come out from talking to the producers. She says that she really cares about Ben, but she's sent him home for a reason, which is true. So she sits back down on the couch and like he pulls his hand out to hold her hand again. And I was just like trying to be intimate here. Like I was like annoyed for her. I wouldn't want to be like, okay, here's my hand. Let's talk about this again. What did you think about how this whole combo concluded? What did you think, Tanya?
She shouldn't have kissed him. She shouldn't have kissed him. And she knew she shouldn't have done that. I think that was like the biggest mixed message because it gave him so much hope. Oh my God. His eyes like lit up and he was so happy that she kissed him and that she initiated that kiss. And that to me, that was just like, I feel like maybe that's also why she kind of felt like she would need to keep him around or something because otherwise it's such a mixed message to do that. And then you've already sent him home.
No. So he started like on the couch, so he's saying things like, I've never felt this way before. And, you know, that he just thought that he would never have another opportunity to like be with her or whatever. And she says to him, which is something I thought was really important, is like, why did you tell everybody but me? Like, why did you tell everybody that, like, I told the producers that, like, I was in love with you. And you see that he's talking to Antonia from Top Chef about it. And, like, you know, but he doesn't feel comfortable enough to be able to say it to Tayshia. And rightfully so for her calling it out, being like, you know, what's going to happen when there's something that's hard for you to tell me? Like, are you going to tell everybody else but me? I thought it was a really valid point here. And I personally was kind of cringing when he was responding because, like, I didn't think it didn't make me feel better about him. Did you have any thoughts, Brazil?
Yeah, I think it's him being emotionally desensitized at such a young age because I had that same conversation with my dad. Not like that, but just about things in general. Like, how come you tell everyone else you're proud of me, but you don't tell me? Like, so I think it definitely has something to do with him being, yeah, like kind of broken at an early age with like emotion wise. So I just think it's not something that she's looking for. And not everyone is like willing to put up with that and or work through it. So
I feel that, but she does invite him to come to the rose ceremony and like, can I hug you? Is that allowed? And I was just like, I kind of rolled my eyes there a little bit with like the, is that allowed stuff? It's kind of like you left, like you were gone because you didn't want to show me that you're ready to be in a relationship with me. And so like kind of passive aggressive being like, is that allowed? It's just like, get out of here. Like she's letting you stay. I don't know. It annoyed me. But it could also be that he just annoys me. So everything he does is probably going to bother me a little bit. But then I was like, oh shit, she kisses him. You're right, Tanya. I was like,
that's the thing. Like it's a mix. It's physically mixed messages with those two. And I think that Ben is like a less evolved version of Zach. Like I think they're getting on a similar like arc. But Zach has already like done the self work to be like in a place that's over here, and Ben is like still back here, and he still doesn't know like who he is at all. So he'll get there, you know. But for him to say that he feels this way, I think he's still placing too much value on like learning how to even communicate with other people and to understand how to express himself. Eventually he'll get to a point where he's a little bit more fully realized, but he's not ready. He's not ready.
No, he's not ready at all. Ross says, oops, where'd it go? Click. Okay, we're not clicking right now. Okay, we'll save that for later then. I was wondering though if it could have been maybe a goodbye kiss, because I was like, maybe you want to have one last kiss with him and you know be done with it. That's what I was kind of thinking about it. I was thinking that maybe she's going to bring him to the rose ceremony.
Ooh.
You're on your screen too?
Yeah.
So she thinks that I can't click on the comments, otherwise I would. That he was going to go to the rose ceremony.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you're back.
out. I was like, okay, I'm sorry, I won't talk about Ben that way. Like, what's
Part owner of StreamYard.
But yeah, I was just wondering if maybe he was going to let him be to the rose ceremony, allow her to think about it a little bit more. But that was just kind of like the last kiss to see like whether or not she had enough feelings for him to be able to move further along in the relationship. I didn't think that she was going to let him go to the next level. You agree? You didn't think so either, Tanya?
I mean, I thought so just because I sensed what the elimination was going to be. I don't know, jazzed up that rose ceremony because then they weren't expecting him to be there. They looked like they saw a ghost when he walked up. Like Zach literally looked like he was going to have a panic attack. Like he was like just like breathing and sweating. So I think it made the entire thing more interesting than us just watching her give Zach and Ivan, if nobody else was there, roses. Like what?
I also want to, at this point though, I was like, can Brendan come back then too, please? Like that would be more interesting.
I mean, I'm sure he's still on the property. So you could get whoever you want. You could get JoJo. You could get whoever's around.
You could have a Bachelorette talent show with all the people they got hanging out there.
I mean, we had the comedy hour. That was this season. Yeah, it was. So do a lot. So Ross was asking before, that should have been my sign that like something was going wrong when I couldn't click on anything. It says, you know anything about Ben's parents? He never talked about them even when she asked him. So the only thing that we kind of were reminded of was the fact that his father is a doctor and wasn't able to leave due to COVID. Do we have any other information about his family?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
I haven't looked into it either.
Hi, dummy thick burrito. They think that Ivan still should have won. I want him to find a relationship, but I didn't see it with Tayshia from a long time. I like their conversations. I like the progression of it, but I never really saw him being the one down on one knee with Tayshia. I never saw it.
Yeah.
Someone else, but not her.
Someone else for sure. I think he's going to have a lot of people coming into his DMs as well, looking for maybe a little bit of Ivan love. He says, I know we all love Island, but let's be real, their connection wasn't at all. Exactly. Yeah. Rachel, does anyone know what religion Ivan practices?
I don't.
He's not religious. That's what he said. So I think
I would think if he grew up with any sort of religion, maybe Catholicism, just because many Filipino families, that's the religion that they connect with. And so that's a potential. Maybe when he was younger, he had some Catholic upbringing, but as far as we know, he doesn't do any practicing now. Thick says, yes, you're right. There wasn't a strong connection at all. Exactly. So, sorry?
The username.
So at the rose ceremony, Ivan feels that they have the best connection. I was like, oh boy, especially if Ben is coming back to the rose ceremony and she kissed him and his eyes lit up. I was worried for Ivan here of getting his heart broken. Zach tells Chris, that when he told her that he loves her, she told him right back, and Chris is like, oh, okay, wow. I want to know how much of this is Chris acting and how much of this Chris is like he actually is surprised in some of these moments.
Chris is behind the cameras watching everything unfold.
All of it, though, or do you think he gets surprised by some of it?
I think he knows what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's Chris Harrison.
Yeah.
And so Ben showed up, and I thought Ben showing up was kind of weird and kind of like how he was just kind of like, hey guys, I'm here again. Like, I don't know. I didn't like his entrance. You're nodding a little bit, Tanya. Did you not enjoy his entrance?
Well, it was just like no one asked him anything, and he was like, Tayshia asked me to come to the rose ceremony. And we were like, oh, let's start with hello, and let's see where we'll go from there. Like, what?
I didn't like it. And to me, it seemed like he was gloating. And he probably was gloating a bit just for the fact that, like, if she kissed him and wants him to come to the rose ceremony, like, maybe they're supposed to be together. So. In
his mind, he's thinking, wow, my confession went so well. And she kissed me. So he's feeling like money right now. I think that's also why he boosted in that moment to be like, she asked me to come and I'm here, because he's feeling like she's like reciprocating his feelings and confession.
Ross says Chris knows everything second by second. Okay, fine. He's just acting, Chris. He needs like to get an Emmy nom. Okay, so Tayshia shows up and she explains that she was always told that the fantasy suite was the most pivotal week, and she agrees that everybody that told her this was right. And then the kiss of death really happens when she's like, Ivan, can I speak to you for a moment? That's never a good sign right before rose ceremony, especially when a guy just came back.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hear her properly. He's like, sorry, what? Like, he was probably like, I skipped a beat. Like, what's happening here? And she walks over and they have a little bit of a conversation. So Ben and Zach are kind of looking around the corner to try to see if they can see what was happening. They had to both have known that it's not a good sign, that he's most likely not coming back. If at this moment he's having like a little chit chat before rose ceremony. And so, okay, I didn't hear the religion part about this. So can one of you two explain to me how this went down? Because I was still a little bit surprised, but what her reasonings behind it. I knew that she doesn't have that much of a connection with him, but she kind of made it seem like there was something specific that happened. Am I just unaware, or was there something more?
Well, she didn't reference anything like specifically, but when she sat him down, she said that when they chatted during their fantasy suite, I guess, when they were having conversations, there were important subjects that posed concern for her, and that religion's like part of my morals and my beliefs. That's what she said. And that was kind of like implying that there's a difference between their religious beliefs, which is come to find out like later on through Ivan that she wants to date a Christian and he's not religious. So clearly there's some kind of lack of alignment there, and she referenced it. But to me, it all kind of reads as an excuse because she wasn't going to pick him anyways. So I don't know if they just edited it really choppy or what the deal was, but it was totally just her saying that because she wasn't going to pick him. I'm sure that was a factor, but like it seemed weird.
I just feel like today's age, like that's not as big of a thing as it used to be anyway.
So and also we don't see her like talking about like her Christianity or anything like that. Like I didn't realize that was like such a high key value for her. It's fine if that is, but like I had no awareness that this was even a thing.
Talks about it a lot. I can't remember which date she was on, but she said like, she goes to church. I think she said she goes to church every Sunday or whatever, and like that's something that she would like to continue doing. I mean, I really feel like she had a date where that's happening. In the chat, if you guys can remind me of that moment, or am I making it up, or was it from another season that I'm remembering this from? But religion was something that she still upholds right now. But Tamika here says that she believes that religion was an excuse. We all know that she wasn't feeling Ivan. I mean, I agree with that as well, Tamika, and thanks for joining us today. Hello. But it also, though, when you're trying to break up with someone, you're trying to find like really valid reasons too. And so I think it was going to hurt a little bit less than her just being like, yeah, I'm just not that into you, Ivan. I think it's like, oh, listen, like I'm more religious than you are, and I don't think we can come into agreement on how to raise our family. I think that's more of like something that he could sit with than I'm just not that into you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it was really weird and unemotional and very anticlimactic, her letting him go. The entire thing, like, tonally felt so weird to me when we've seen her weep over Blake and, like, cry over other people leaving. For someone like Ivan, it just really speaks to the fact that I guess she didn't really feel that strongly towards him. And it's unfortunate because he, I think, deserved a more genuine send-off than that. It felt very cold. I didn't like the way that went.
It did feel cold. I think that's what made me think she was just so shook by Brendan's everything that she was like chopping.
or just like done, like emotionally drained.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was more emotionally involved in Blake's exit. I think she was just overwhelmed with all the guys and like having their feelings in her hands and having to be really considerate. Like I think that she was just overwhelmed by the process as opposed to it really being Blake, sending Blake off. Like I don't think she was that into Blake, but I think that she just stopped liking having to break up with so many people. Like it's not really fun doing it once. So like having to do it like 20 times, it's kind of like, oh God, I don't want to break up with someone again, especially if they're saying that they like me. Like, so that's where I think she was crying there. So Cassandra says, I like that Zach is older. I feel like Tayshia typically mothers the guy that she's with, but Zach, he takes the lead. That's probably what she likes the best about Zach is that he is older and more mature in just how he interacts with her relationship-wise. And so I think that is probably very attractive. Tamika says, I feel like it was the utmost importance of the utmost importance. It would have been talked about all season. I mean, I can agree with you there. You're kind of echoing what Tanya was saying. I know she did mention it, but also though, do you think that the show did not mention it because they don't necessarily want to have a super religious stance?
You think ABC, you mean?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. They brought up all kinds of stuff this season, so
I feel like that used to be kind of a trope. Like you have to like want to be, you know, religious and like have the kids. Like I think that used to be the case, but I feel like now
Brown was religious, if I'm not mistaken, and it wasn't brought up that much, other than like,
true,
not a virgin and God still loves me. Other than that, like it wasn't brought up that much, you know. So
Hannah.
I don't know. I don't know if maybe they just wanted to like, okay, we have so many of these big issues. Like, I don't know if I want to have something as polarizing as religion can be within their audience. Because their audience is probably predominantly, okay, that's a gross generalization. I'm going to say Christian, but I'm saying like maybe middle America would be more Christian based. I'm not sure though. I don't know.
I just think if it's like a straight up like deal breaker for you, then yeah, it should probably like, but they weren't aligned. They weren't aligned anyways. Like even when he was having like conversations with her about Black Lives Matter and everything that was going on, like they're in two very different places of like where they stand in terms of their journey with that. And she's not where he's at in terms of being able to articulate that. Like she was like literally just discovering like how impactful that conversation even was on her. So like the religion lack of alignment, but like I think probably there's a lot more potential things that they are not on the same page about that wouldn't pan out long term.
Yeah.
So Rachel says, I mean, I know where she's coming from. I want to marry a Christian as well, but I feel like that this should have been talked about earlier. I mean, maybe that's what was talked about in the fantasy suite that we didn't fully see. And because that is the time where all these bigger issues kind of come to the surface. So
that's what JoJo told her to do when she was giving her advice, was like explore all those things. So
Sandra says on Bachelor in Paradise, she said her and JPJ connected on being religious. That's true.
John Paul Jones.
I like John Paul Jones. I don't know if I'd marry him though. Ross says, and Ivan said that she probably won't pick anyone at the end. What was that about? Well, his heartbreaking, but I was kind of agreeing with him. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't pick anybody at the end because maybe she isn't ready for relationship.
I took it as because he thought that she was like hung up on Brendan.
I took it as that she was not hung up on her ex, but hung up on the idea of marriage and that she didn't have a positive first experience and that, you know, he felt that their love and relationship was so strong and so true that if she can't love him, that she couldn't love anybody.
Oh yeah, that's another way to look at it.
So Tamika says, I agree. I was completely frustrated between all of them giving Ivan a fantasy suite camper. It was a slap in the face. Yeah, they definitely didn't make it easy for her to fall for him in that moment. It was a big thing Sean season, and that's true.
Yes, that's true.
I didn't really watch Sean season because I didn't really care for them that direction.
We knew from the jump that Sean was religious and that was a very important thing in his life. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. It's just clearly whatever happened in the fantasy suite, the convo that they had was either like super awkward or they just I don't know, like there's something that we're missing. There's a piece that we didn't get.
Yeah, for sure.
Cassandra says religion was only brought up on Hannah's season because of the drama of her banging all the men and Luke P being upset about it. Facts.
Yeah.
I've been seen bitter. Facts.
I'd be bitter.
Tamika agrees. Ivan, I think, was very accommodating with her being so sheltered on Black Lives Matter. They weren't a match. It's true.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
JBJ looks so basic, white boy. I laugh my ass off. I'm not into it. He's so basic. I just thought he was like cute and goofy, but it's not my type.
No, thank you.
Ross says, by the way, how come Ivan didn't pick up that there was no chemistry? Is that a guy thing or he lacks emotional intelligence?
I think he wanted to believe that she liked him as much as he liked her, and you don't really understand what's going on with other people. You just judge based on your own connection with them. He probably thought that they had a good connection. I don't know.
I mean, I've never experienced anything where it wasn't balanced and like I was feeling something that wasn't there. So but it could be because he hasn't had that much experience. So he probably, because he could get it up, that means that it's reciprocal. But maybe it wasn't. And I think he might just be too inexperienced in relationships to have recognized that she might not have been that into him.
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, I'm sorry, and he says it's okay, and that is the end. So yeah, I wrote down though, when Ivan says, I don't think that Tayshia will choose anyone, I wrote down, that's the tea. Oh, I would like to hear his thoughts after the show to see how he feels about Zach and their relationship. I am interested in seeing if his thoughts about that changed or whatnot.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So she comes back in and she doesn't really explain what happened, but she says that she can't wait for them to meet her family. And she gives out the roses to the guys. So I didn't want her to give Ben the rose there. I know that they were filming a show, and so she didn't want to do the final two with Ivan. I think it was perfect timing that Ben came back into the equation. So like at least Ben can go meet her family. And she was probably maybe choosing Zach already from this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So Tayshia, though, okay, so the first family date Tayshia has is with Ben. And so she kind of does like a a prep interview with her family, who her family is super adorable. Brazil definitely messaged me being like, oh my God, Tayshia's brother is so hot. He's going to find
it. You guys see him?
Definitely. I thought it was a very, very attractive.
I'm like, Tayshia, who have you been hiding from us this whole time?
I know. We only saw the dad last time. I don't even remember seeing her mom.
I saw like a video of her mom, but I didn't even know she had like a younger brother. Oh man, I don't know if he's older than her, but he's hot.
Definitely cute. Oh, this is a good point. So Tamika says that Riley said that Tayshia was really good at making the guys feel like they were the only ones in the world. But watching it back, he sees the difference. She does. She is engaged. She listens really well. When they were having that conversation, maybe about religion, she was probably like pointing up her perspective. And he's like, well, like I'm open-minded, blah, blah, blah. And like, I don't go to church every Sunday, but I'm willing to like, be more open to about religion. And maybe she was just like, no, I'm not really into that. I want someone that's like on the same page with me about religion. But she might not have shown that,
Mm-hmm. Are we sure that Zach's religious?
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Chat, is Zach religious? Have we talked about that?
Is Ben?
That's what I mean. It was just an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So she tells them though about Ben and how she already sent Ben home. And he's obviously a little bit apprehensive, which he should be. Like, you send him home for a reason. You have good instincts. Like, why are you bringing him back? Like, do you really think that... Oh, sorry. I just like read another comment that I was like, I felt really bad about. And so, like, obviously I'm apprehensive as a parent, about my daughter bringing somebody home that she already said that she didn't want to be with. So I don't know if she should have told. Do you think she should have told him, the family?
I mean, I guess she didn't really have a choice, but
Sure.
Yeah.
there's a
Sure.
reason you sent him home. So probably that was a good thing. The entire tone of this felt like a job interview, like this date with the family and Ben. I was like, are you trying to get a part-time job? Like, I'm confused about it.
She kind of put him to task on it. Like, what did she say? Like, right before she left to go get him. She was like, make sure you guys bring that up, or make sure you ask those questions. Like, she definitely put them in, like, which is fair, because that's been her problem with him from the beginning, is like, he's not giving her much, and or she can't like figure out where he's at. So I could see why she did do that, but
agree or disagree, ladies? Ross says that her older brother looks like Ivan, LOL. And so maybe like,
no,
you know, if you want to be sleeping with her brother. Maybe
I mean, OC. I live on the border of OC and LA County, so let's go.
you're gonna go find them. I think
I gotta go find Jordan M in Venice, and then I gotta find Tayshia's brother.
Lucky you have all these people so close to you.
And now Ben.
So Sam says that that the comments on social media are disgusting. People are mad that she didn't choose a black guy. Like, come on, guys, it's based on connection, not just color. And like we talked about this a lot, that growing up in communities where you are the only black person and you don't necessarily have the affections of many other cultures being interested in you, it does skew on finding connections with other backgrounds. It's just how it is. I've even said in my life, like I never grew up in huge black communities. And so I've definitely dated multiculturally, but like, I wouldn't be definitively like, oh, I only date black guys, because I really haven't met that many black guys that are into me. Like, usually I'm too white for them and I'm too black for the white guys, you know? So I can understand where she's coming from if it hasn't been her experience to find a connection with somebody that is a person of color, because she's never maybe experienced it as much as other people have. So.
And to be honest, like, that's not her fault. If that's what's going on and that's how her preferences lie, then that's what it is. But to the point again that Beatrice made on the last podcast in the comments, this is why the diversity thing is like very surface and for show in some ways, by casting like Tayshia or Matt, people that, well, we don't know for Matt necessarily, but let's use Tayshia as an example, where it's like, yes, like she is, you know, a half black, half Latina woman. She is a diverse lead, but she primarily dates white folks from what we know. So it's not really solving the problem of like diversifying the people that we see on The Bachelor. You need to get a lead that has preferences for people that are of color if you want to see more of that happening in the series. She's not into black guys. Like, yeah, it doesn't mean you're not open to it.
Right. Well, that's what I think for Love Island. Chantele and I were like, the producers need to do a little bit more research into the people, and don't just like ask, like, you know, who are you interested in? Like, make sure that they've dated people that they say they're interested in. Exactly. Because if you can say whatever you want to get on a show, but then when it comes down to it, it's still, it like leaves an unfair advantage to certain
people more widely accepted by all races, as opposed to some that are particular preferences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is right. So Sam also says that I think that people wanted Tayshia to pick a black guy since Rachel didn't. Well, and that's kind of echoes all of this. It's like, well, Rachel, completely the opposite of Tayshia here, has only dated black men. Yeah. And who knows, though, with the black men that The Bachelor thought was going to be good for Rachel. Like, maybe they didn't have the qualities that Brian did that made him a suitable match for her. And so, like, it's just the thing. It's like, just because they're both of the same skin color, that means that they have to be into each other. Like, that's also another thing that's really frustrating. It's that, like, if we're looking for love and like heart's connection, like, skin color shouldn't really have anything to do with it. But if it has to do with being attracted to somebody, then that's just what it is. You know what I mean? So anyways, it's annoying though that people don't seem to understand that it is something that people of color have to deal with, especially if they don't grow up in communities with people that look like them. It's just a thing.
And she did not.
She did not. Cassandra says, I also thought that it was like a job interview. Oh my God, he had no personality or personability. So yeah, so she goes and grabs Ben, and he is drenched in sweat. I was like, the producer is doing him dirty here. Like, get like a cold station or something, like just like gigantic sweat marks under his arms, like on his chest. Like, I was just like, it makes you look like you're nervous. Like, even if he wasn't nervous or whatnot, but the fact that he was so sweaty, I get that it's hot out and like, you know, you can't really take the temperatures, but like allow him to be in an air conditioning room before he goes and meets the family, but instead of like standing outside under the sun. Anyway, so he comes in, he meets them, and it was just really, I found it definitely like a job interview. The dad liked that he was from West Point. And, you know, I just felt he was trying to say all the right answers. I didn't feel that he was that interested in Tayshia by his answer. I felt that he was just trying to say the right thing. You agree, Tanya?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It seemed like he was trying to do the right thing, like that you would when you meet the parents. Immediately, he took me out when he walked in and greeted the younger brother. Was like, hey, dude. Hey, dude. Like, what's with referring to like kids as dude? I don't understand that. It felt really like, ugh, like, and I think even her other brother just kind of like laughed at that a little bit because it was ridiculous. And he was just like saying what he felt like he needed to say, for sure. And it's an awkward situation also because he was gone and came back and this all happened so suddenly. So I get that. I don't think I would feel like so natural in that setting or anything.
Well, I mean, I think his opening line was like, okay, Desmond, and he starts naming him off. He's like, so did your daughter tell you she dumped me a week ago?
Oh, God. Oh,
yeah. I didn't enjoy this at all. I feel cringe. I was just like cringing the entire time. Like, it was not, it did, for me, it didn't go well for him. He seemed to be really excited about it, but I thought that his dad was asking some good questions though. Like, why would you like to go further? And what makes you think that you're ready to be married? I thought these were good questions for him to ask. But, and his answer was the same for everything, was like, she makes me feel like I've never felt before. I've never felt this way before. She makes me feel some way that I've never felt before, which is the same, similar to what Zach's been saying. But I feel as though Ben is putting it on more. Like, he's saying what he thinks that he wants, the father wants to hear.
Yeah.
And it just didn't land for me. He said the dad felt a bit better after his interview with Ben. What about, did you guys enjoy the scooter races with the family?
Up until Ben's parting words.
What did he say? I don't remember.
He was like rolls up to the dad who's also on a scooter. He's like, all right, it's been fun, but it's time to steal your daughter away for the night or something like that. And I was like,
I didn't write it down, so I probably blocked it out.
Mm-hmm. He's just like, we get it. You're good on the scooter. You don't have to always be on one leg, Ben. Just get out of here. Scoot away. Scoot away.
Scoot. So we do hear a voiceover, I think, or a confessional where she says she put her heart on hold with Ben, and now she's falling in love with him again. Do you think that this is just a line, or do you think that she's actually feeling that?
Line.
I mean, who knows when that line was said and when they decided to insert it into this episode.
That's true. I think she's alive. That was said current, though.
Good thought. Okay, hold on. This is a good point. So this is kind of back to Ivan a bit. So Rachel says, I'm sorry, but I knew that Ivan didn't have a chance. I feel like they aren't casting Black males, or good at casting Black males on the show that are suitable for the lead, if that makes sense. Exactly. Like, just because they're Black doesn't mean that they're going to make the perfect love connection. You're going to get that Black couple storyline that you're hoping for. Like, they have to still be into each other.
Yeah. The problem is they're casting leads that aren't into Black men. So that's why that's happening.
I mean, like, I have a friend, she's white, and she only dates Black men. And every single Black man, doesn't matter like what they look like, what their job, like anything. Like, she just, like, they're all infinitely hotter than any white person that she's ever seen in her life. And so that would be a different vibe of a show.
Yeah.
The lead.
But see, wouldn't it be unfair to cast a bunch of white guys for her then?
Exactly. Because then she wouldn't be into them.
So it's the same fucking thing.
Exactly.
It is. It is.
It's the same exact thing.
Okay, so Tamika says, no, this is a good point too. So, LOL, Tayshia's type is not a black man, which is fine, but I truly think the producers made her keep Ivan too. Especially with Brendan leaving and all that stuff. Like maybe he's like, come on, can you guys just keep Ivan just till the end, please, please, please? Like, you know, we can't have another black lead, like not choose a black man. We can't, please. So I think that she probably got pressured in maybe keeping him a little bit longer than she wanted to. I can see that for sure.
I think the same thing happened with Rachel keeping Eric on her season as well.
Yes, Hundo.
Why do you not remember what Eric looks like?
Eric Biggs? He's so cute. He does like,
yeah.
I like Eric. He's on Bachelor in Paradise, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was afterwards. But he was the black man on her season, and he was in her top 4, I want to say. But similar type of situation where it's like clearly, like I think clearly Tayshia liked Ivan as a person. Clearly, like it's fine when you know you have like at least 2 people that you're maybe seriously interested in marrying, then the other people that you bring along are hopefully people that you enjoy, that you still want to have around. So I think that's also like partly why Ivan stayed, because he's a nice person. So why not? You know?
And it also probably filled that for the producers.
Yes. Yeah. Both of those things.
I liked Eric. I can't believe I forgot who he was.
You remember him now. He's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Candace said such a good point. Nearly all the people of color that are on the Bachelor are all in relationships with white people. Well, this is kind of like the world that they live in and the people that they meet. You know, a lot of people date people that they work with, and these franchises and these events that are happening that are with the Bachelorette franchise, doing any meet and greets, whatever, you're going to be around more people that are part of the Bachelor franchise, which are most likely going to be white men and women. And so it just makes sense, though. This is like their job, basically, that they're going to be meeting people that they could have potential relationships with. So if they were on a show where there was only black people on the show, I think that they would be more inclined to be getting into relationships with black people. But it's just not the environment that they're in, guys.
Come on, everyone.
Come on is right. Oh my God, sorry. I'm skipping so many. What is next? Okay, this is next, I think. So Ross says if she's into white guys, that's what she's into. I'm black and I live in Ethiopia, and we have different shades of black here. And some people are in lighter shades, even in all black demographic. Yeah, demography. Absolutely. I talked about this a lot on Love Island. Just like there's a lot of colorism going on within the black community as well. I experience it all the time. My grandmother only really likes me because I'm not very dark. And so she definitely is somebody that I've experienced colorism through within my own community. So 100%, even within the black community, there is colorism. Not that it's good, but it is a fact at this point. Ben was terrible, LOL. I didn't feel anything that he said. Yes, exactly. Like I didn't want him to be there. I didn't want to look at him trying to be sincere. I didn't want him to look at his dad I just didn't like any of it. I just wanted it to be over. I didn't like it at all. But Scooters, whatever. He's out of there. Scoot right out.
I will say impressive Tayshia was in heels on that scooter.
That's not that hard. Come on.
It's not, but I mean, like props, because I know a lot of my friends could not do that.
I don't know. I'm definitely a heels person. I do take dance classes in heels. So I could run a marathon in heels for sure. So I wouldn't find that to be necessarily personally hard, but
I've ran quite a few times.
You what?
In heels.
You've been in heels a few times?
Like ran. Like
ran. Okay. I'm like, part of like my motto is like at nighttime, if you're going out, you better be in heels or you can't hang out with me.
Oh yeah, no, always. Booties or heels at least.
Yes. I love heels. I mean, I just always want to be taller, so that's the thing.
How tall are you?
5'5".
Oh, me too.
But everybody else in my family is tall, so I'm the small one. Well, my mom's the same height as me, but I've always wanted to be like 5'9". Cassandra says Ben seemed like he was putting on an act. Exactly. Like it just didn't seem sincere. I remember that we were gonna have fun tonight or something awkward. Oh, ew. I think I blocked it out.
Yeah, no, it was something super freaking cringy. Like, I'm gonna steal your daughter away for some fun, and it was weird.
So Tamika's theory here is that she believes that they agreed to have Ben back to meet the parents. Maybe just to make that whole awkward date. Like, because the dad got really famous from the fact that he called microwave relationships or whatever. And so maybe they just wanted to give the opportunity to the dad to like kind of lay into Ben and like get maybe some of those gift-worthy moments. So I can see that.
It's true. Desmond, the father, really stole the show there. That was his segment. So
this is another thing, Cassandra, that I agree here. So preferences based on race always feels weird to me. Like, is it a fetish? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think yes.
I think so too.
For some people, maybe.
Like, especially, okay, so certain white men that I've experienced in my life, like, they kind of when they say like, oh, I'm into Black women, it's kind of like they're eating like food, and like it's just like kind of gross. It's kind of like they just want you to like be doing some like ass clapping, twerking on their dicks or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's just something uncomfortable about some white men that I've experienced that say that they're only into Black women, and so in those kind of cases, I would say that it is a fetish. Yeah, I definitely have experienced that, and I do feel like it's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Have you guys have any fetish experiences?
No, I mean, I see what Cassandra's saying here.
Yeah, I think
for some people it is. And then I think the other piece is just like, where are you? Like, where do you live? What are you surrounded by? How were you raised? Who's in your community? Like, what's your dating history? Like there's so many things, because some people have a type, some people don't have a defined type, but there's people that we're attracted to and gravitate towards. So there's so many factors that lead to that. And I don't doubt that for some people it is a fetish, to be honest. We see that happen for sure sometimes. So who can say?
I just like everyone. I feel like I don't really have a type. Well, tall is my type, but whatever color you are, as long as you're tall. I don't care. Down for it all.
Pretty much, yeah, same here. I like tall too.
Well, that's my only prerequisite. Just be tall.
Sam says, I think Tayshia's preference was more because of environment. True. Where she grew up didn't have that many people that looked like her, which influenced who she liked. Agreed.
Absolutely.
Tamika says, facts, 100% Eric would have been gone long time ago. But it's just because she didn't really vibe with Eric.
Yeah.
Brazil, do you have any tea or reasonings as to why Mike didn't end up being the Bachelor? We heard that he just wasn't going to be the right fit, but I feel as though he would have been a better fit than random Matt James at this point.
I only knew of back then, like not who was the Bachelor instead of him right after his season? Peter. I only know of like back then why he wasn't. I don't know about like over Matt James.
Why?
Oh, well, a lot of it had to do with him not being ready, and also I think he had a lot of suitors already in his DMs, like Demi Lovato being one of them. Like he had like a lot of like attention without that, and so I think he was just. I would have loved to see him as Bachelor. He is so freaking hot. But yeah, I think from what I remember reading, he just like wasn't really ready to go through all that. Plus, he already had a bunch of attention. But what was I gonna say? And then I think also that they chose Matt James because everyone was so obsessed with Tyler. So it was like a good kind of segue to keep people like interested, because people did really know Matt James just because of Tyler posting him all the time, like especially in the beginning of quarantine when Hannah was quarantining with them. So I think they were trying to like kind of play off that.
Yeah, capitalize on the built-in audience. I mean, I just think that we talked about this last week, but I think that at the time when Mike Johnson was being like pushed by the stands, like they weren't ready to be like open to diversity more so. And so now it's like, oh shoot, like, okay, diversity is the thing. Okay, so we got to figure this out now. Who we're going to get in here, you know? So I think that Mike Johnson, they didn't want to take the leap of faith with him at that point. But maybe if that whole scenario happened now, he would have been the Bachelor instead of it being Matt James. You know what I mean?
Oh, I $1,000,000% would have rathered that too.
Right? So Cassandra says, I can see Tayshia being into a Dale type. I don't think so. I'm not into Dale.
About Dale on this podcast. We're clear.
Do you like Dale? I mean, you thought he was attractive, I believe, Tanya.
God,
I think Dale is attractive, but I can't really understand his motivations as a person. He's pretty to look at, but
I just get so
he's not my guy.
Claire season. Oh my God.
Is not your guy? That's funny. Hi, BP. Merry Christmas to you, or happy holidays if you celebrate others. Tamika says, I think that it's to help Ben's Bachelor campaign. Blech. Nick Vial says the producers really like Ben and Zach. Really?
Chantele.
I mean, it might be the season that I don't watch. I just don't feel like him having these conversations over and over and over again. Like, he's not good at them. You know, getting really.
I mean, again, we had some really bad leads that are not even articulate. So the bar is very low.
Ari, all he did on his one-on-ones was just eat. Like, Nick, ugh, cringy, gross. Like, ugh, yeah, they've done a lot. The girls have honestly carried the show.
Colton.
Yeah,
literally Colton.
The only thing with Colton was the ring being the O. Like, that was the entire season. Like,
and the fence.
The fence jump. It was all about the fence jump. So Sam says, I don't know, but I'm looking at Matt and getting hypnotized. I don't like that they did it kind of last minute and they did it for diversity. Not that Matt, because Matt is good to look at and tall.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's very attractive. It's just, I feel like I would have preferred Mike.
So Ross says that they talked to Mike at the time and they didn't agree on some things. That's why he wasn't the Bachelor. Like, I know, and I'm trying to know what these things were. What were these things? Yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish it was him. I would have liked to see his journey because I just like him better than what I know of Matt James.
Same.
But Matt James is attractive, so I will be.
Matt is 6'5". Okay.
Okay, so we get to okay, we don't have that much left. So we have Tayshia's date, or like family date with Zach. She didn't have to go and do a pre-interview with her dad about Zach, and so I was like, okay, that's interesting. And he came in and he seemed very confident, which I thought I appreciated about his demeanor. And one thing I really noticed is when he was talking to his father, his voice went down. And he actually was being very, very like straight. And like that I appreciated. Like from being an actor, we are always told to like speak in the bottom of your voice. Like speak when you're speaking down there, you're being sincere usually. You are when you're up here, it's kind of like maybe you're putting on some sort of like you're trying to become more likable, and you know, like a lot of people like put on baby voices because they don't want to speak down here and be like real and truthful. And so I noticed that. And that he wanted to come across, at least to his father, that there's no wavering in him and there's no doubt within him. And so I definitely picked up on, he came across to me with his father as very sincere. Did you guys have any thoughts yourself?
He handled that conversation fabulously, I thought. Like, I think it was really, really to make him feel assured, but then also to take it to the next level. Because I mean, the tradition of asking for permission from a father, personally, I think it's like something that we can get over. But I did appreciate that he still covered that topic with him, but it wasn't like I'm asking you to do this. It was like, this is where I see things going forward, and this is why I feel confident making this next move. And he spoke to him, I thought, in a really, really nice way. He did a great job.
I agree.
Can you hear that music? I'm sorry.
Okay, is it Carol's? It's totally fine. You're living in the heart of LA. Things are happening over there. So Tayshia, though, like, and her dad, like, she did seem really excited to talk to her dad about him. And she does make it clear that she isn't just going to get engaged to get engaged. And so that's a good thing too, because she mentions the fact that her dad was there with her when, I don't know if it was in the moment when she first found out something about her husband, or if it was when she decided that she wanted to get a divorce, but he sat with her at like 4 o'clock in the morning and allowed her to cry in the car together. And so her dad has seen her in vulnerable moments and heartbreak. And so I think that it shows that he really does want the best for her. And so I definitely felt that this date, Zach came off really, really good, and somebody that her dad could really feel confident in him taking care of her. I did feel that. I definitely. And I felt also that Zach got along a lot better with her mom. Yeah. Like, as like her mom, you could see she felt at ease with him. And there was not that she felt worried with Ben. I don't really remember her with Ben, to be honest, but I definitely remember her with Zach, and there was an ease and a comfort. And I think that that's also what Tayshia is experiencing with him. You're muted. You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry if the music's annoying. My window's shut. That's what I was thinking too. Like, if it was my dad, that's not me.
What are they singing?
Oh, it's like
carolers?
Mexican music? No, Mexican music. I don't know. What's it called? Mariachi music? I don't know. Sorry, it's like, I don't know what to call it. Oh yeah, like if I was bringing in a guy that like I had already dumped a week before, my dad would be like, "You dumped him for a reason." Like, and I don't think he would be like paying it as much attention to like someone else that's been there, been consistent, didn't have to give them like a prequel about. So I think it just kind of like flowed better overall, because I think they could see that she was more confident about it as well. So,
and I also liked how he handled his mom. Her mom asked him, where do you see each other 5 years from now? And I thought that was a good question. It seems as though it was something that they talked about, maybe on the fantasy suite. And, you know, I like that he added still madly in love, like starting a family together. Like, I thought that, you know, yes, maybe these are typical, but I don't know if Ben would have said that. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, it's an easy answer. But I'm like, but you know what? Ben, I don't think would have said that if she asked him the same question. So I liked how he handled the mom. Zach and the dad, we already said, like, the dad doesn't want it to just be a test to see if they can make it. And I think that Zach really answered that, because, like, that was a pretty tough question. Like, you know, you both have been married before. Like, you don't want to see if it's a test that you could just get to that level again or get to that point again, but that they really do have something special there. So I thought that he handled that really well. And the best thing that I think that Zach said that sold me was when he recognized that Tayshia has really high expectations for from her father, from how he has held himself in his relationship with his mom and in being a parent to her, and that he knows that he needs to uphold that standard. And recognizing that, and that he knows that, like, I want to be seen in her eyes as amazing as you are in her eyes, and like I would never want that to waver. I thought that was a really nice thing to nail in with the father, because I think that would make him feel the most comfortable and confident. What do you think, Tanya? Or is she frozen?
Hello. I think
there you are. Hey.
Did I freeze?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
Oh, no, just saying, like, how do you feel about him recognizing the high expectations that she has for a relationship, but through what she's learned from her father?
I think he really understood, like, the family's operating from a place where they're protective of her because they've seen her through a dark time. So he acknowledged that, and that was a big factor in what the conversation was. But then also, what I liked that he said in that same moment was, I know that the expectations are high, but like, I'm not intimidated by that. I actually really respect that. Like, I think I believed him. Like I didn't think that he was backing down or anything. He was still very confident, but like he just had respect. Like this is a very respectful way to talk to somebody and like still be very real and not seem like you're just saying the things that you have to say in that conversation.
I agree.
100%. So they eat some New York style pizza in La Quinta with the family. Why was he getting on the scooters, you know? But thought it was cute. I love pizza. And the mom says, though, after that, she noticed the chemistry between them. And the one thing also that I really liked that he said when he was leaving, can you guess the moment or guess what he said at the end, Tanya?
No, I can't remember.
Which I think was a very good moment to clinch the mom vote.
No, I don't remember. What was it?
He says, "Now I learned where you know how to hug from." After he
Oh.
and I was like, "Oh, that's good. That is good. Get like you're like a little compliment to the mom." And you know, it was a cute moment. I thought that for me was part of him being part of the family. You know, I felt that it was friendly, it was nice, it was complimentary, it was a little flirty, but in like a mom flirt kind of way. And I thought it was definitely a great moment to end their family meeting. So we're getting pretty much at the end of the episode now, and you know, Tayshia's talking about having two completely different worlds, one being with Ben, one being with Zach. I can only see her being in a relationship with Zach personally. I couldn't see the life that she was going to be having with Ben. I had no idea what that was going to look like. And then we hear a knock, knock, knock on the door. Who did you guys think it was going to be?
Chris. I thought it was going to be Chris. Yeah.
I was like, Brendan? Like, I was worried. I was like, who? But it was her dad. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention, but I didn't really hear what the dad's advice was, or I didn't write it down.
He just wanted her to be 100% sure that she is doing what is the right decision for her, and was kind of coming there on behalf of the family to like deliver this message, basically. Okay. But he didn't specify like you should pick this person or that person. He was just like, we don't want to see you go through, you know, that pain again. So just want to make sure that you're ready for this. That was the gist of it.
Yeah, the only thing that I wrote down was that he doesn't want her to make the biggest mistake of her life. And I was like, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But like, did he bring any actual tangible information? But I think they just wanted to have the dad cameo. They love the dad. And I love the dad too. He's actually like, he's a good dad figure in this scenario because he asks really good questions, but he's very kind and kind of open-hearted. So I like the dad being the star of the hometown dates here.
better than Peter's mom.
Oh my God, Barb.
I like Barb. You know, I know she kind of went off the rails there a little bit at that, you know, but I mean, there's
I like her more than Peter, so.
I mean, we didn't at least have something like that the entire season by ourselves. It's okay. We love that impersonation.
I was like, what happened to my camera? What the heck?
Oh, I thought you did that on purpose.
No.
Okay, so let's just catch up on these comments. Okay, so Cassandra says the only good part about the Bachelor season is the mess the female cast always delivers. It's true. I never go into expecting a real love story. There's the hope for me. Like, I do watch it because I do like seeing these dates and these connections. I am a hopeful romantic at heart, but I'm not expecting the engagement, really.
Yeah, Bachelor in Paradise for me has a far bigger success rate than the actual seasons do.
Because we get to hang out.
Also, it's a generalization. It's a generalization, but I'm going to generalize because it's The Bachelor and we're operating in a lot of norms in terms of what we're discussing. But I feel like the Bachelor leads, the men, usually just like choose like a hot girl that they want to sleep with the most. Whereas the Bachelorettes kind of tend to gravitate towards someone that they have more of an emotional connection with. So that's probably why it feels less satisfying of a love story at the end of The Bachelor, because there's been so many like questionable final choices in the Bachelor franchise. We're just like, what? Like, why? Why did you pick her?
You're so
like a
right.
Vienna, you know, that kind of situation.
We always knew, though. My mom would say, like, "Oh, he just wants to sleep with her." That's what my mom used to always say. So, nail on the head there. Tika says, "I pray no Ben." Exactly. I will take anybody over him. LOL. Would love Mike though. It won't be Mike. It might be Ben. It's so annoying. I would rather be Bennett. Sorry, like if you're not a Bennett stan, I'd rather Bennett over Ben be the Bachelorette a year from now.
Ugh.
I think he'd be a better Bachelor. Matt is 6'5", Brazil. He's not my favorite. Woo. I personally think Mike may have wanted a primarily minority cast, truthfully.
That's the tea right there.
Oh, Tamika coming out with some hot piping tea. That, I never thought about that. Mm-hmm. That would be something that I could see being a determining factor as to him being the lead. Absolutely. If he's like, well, I want to have approval over the people that are going to be part of my cast. If they're like, no, we don't want you to have the approval. It's like, well, I want to be able to say yes or no to whether I want them to even start off on the season.
Yeah, because like, at the end of the day, isn't the point for that person to find love? I think that's like one thing the producers are kind of missing sometimes.
Well, and it's kind of like even with this Claire season, like we wanted her to have people that were at least 35 plus. Like I really wanted to see her dating people closer to her age. And she's engaged to somebody that's like 8 years her junior. It can work. I get it. But I would have liked to see more people her age being involved in the conversation. Zach has been sober for 9 years. Oh, hi, Net. Thank you. Yeah, 9-10 years. It's still a long time, but it's a battle every day for sure. Ross says Zach always knows what to say, and that kind of scares him. I'm gonna just suspend belief here and, you know, just go with that Tayshia has been dating these people. She's been in their company and that she's going to make the right decision for herself. Mm-hmm. She does say a lot of times that he even makes her feel differently than she's ever felt before. And so I'm going to just trust that she has a good radar here onto who is going to be right for her. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do that from this point forward. Tamika says, I think that they cut out all the meat of what he said. But who?
The dad.
Oh, dad. Yeah, maybe. And Ross says, I think that the dad specifically told her not to pick Ben and they cut it off. He wouldn't just come to advise her of a general thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, so everybody else did feel that something was missing there. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like he said anything of any important worth, but you're probably right. Maybe he did say like, Ben's not the guy. Not your guy.
My dad would be knocking on my door at 3 a.m. to tell me that shit too.
So what do you guys think about the little date that they have where they're going salsa dancing or some sort of Latin dance?
Okay.
I thought it was cute. It was cute.
I got uncomfortable.
I don't know if I didn't like the whole format of this episode because it's different than what I'm used to, but I'm used to like the bloopers and like Chris Harrison kind of running it and then like the audience interaction. And then this one was kind of just like straight across all the way for me. So it was cute, but I don't know. I think I just missed the format.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to hate it because watching people dance like that is not always something I enjoy like seeing, but I thought it was like a rom-com. It was really cute. Like they seemed to actually really have fun.
Yeah.
Well, she seemed to get a really like hard on herself in the beginning, and he was there kind of being like, hey, you got this. It was a little bit cringy for me, a little bit. But you know, I appreciate that they're doing something that was both a little bit out of their comfort zone and they were kind of, you know,
having fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, Tayshia was so stressed though to learn how to dance. I thought that was cute. Him like not really caring if he was good or bad or whatever. Like, I was like, it was pretty cheesy, but it was pretty classic, the Bachelor cheese. So it was fine. So Zach and what did I write about here? So I said breaks his heart knowing that she is scared that he will go away. Okay, so I thought that was really. that also helped me be more endeared to Zach was when he does notice how she's feeling, and he takes her into consideration a lot of the times. Like he knows when she's feeling apprehensive and nervous, or when she's like, when he needs to support or needs to give her some good eye contact. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like he does want to take care of her, and I think that is probably something that's different than other relationships that she's been in, because if it seems like she's like a John Paul Jones, she's probably a little bit more mature, we'll say, in how she approaches the relationship. And so I think that feeling taken care of is something that surprised her about Zach and what is drawing her to him. And so I think that's why she's maybe apprehensive about him maybe going away or or leaving her, is because she does feel so safe with him. So this is making me buy the relationship a lot more. Like this whole episode has helped that for me, for sure.
Yeah. Wait,
so
she's a Virgo. Sorry. She's a Virgo. What is he?
I don't think I know what he is.
Okay, continue.
People that usually deal with addiction, this is a gross generalization, as we stated, that's what we're making here. But people that tend to have any addictions usually are water signs. So it'd be Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. But those are very good matches with Virgo. So
He's a Capricorn. He's a Capricorn.
Oh, Capricorn and Virgo, they work pretty well together. Capricorns are very grounded. They have a lot of drive, determination. So these are qualities that she probably finds very attractive. And it does match with her, because she has a sense, she enjoys the grounded energy. She's Earth as well. So that makes sense.
But just so you know, his moon is in Cancer, so that might be what you're picking up on in terms of...
He has his moon there. What's his rising?
I'm trying to see if I can find that. The fact that this is even Googleable is pretty funny to me, but
but yeah, so Cancer moon for sure. That's how you deal with your emotions is through an emotional sign, and so that's usually family. But like if something gets broken within that sometimes it's expressed. Those emotions through addictions, usually alcohol or drug addictions, is how usually emotional moons are expressed in the negative. So I don't even remember what happened with Ben's final date. I wrote stuff down, but I don't even remember.
I didn't even feel checked out at that point, because I already knew it was going to be AJ. That Zach, I keep calling.
I was like, I already knew it was going to be AJ. I was like, whoa, I was like in a time warp. I'm like, where did I go? Who's AJ?
She didn't have a date with Ben though, because
that what happened?
Yeah, because she tells him, like, she goes to see him to.
Oh, that's right. Like right when she's like standing outside in her jean romper.
Yeah, like she goes to have a chat with him to basically let him go.
That's true. She didn't even make it. Yeah.
Right. I just wrote down what happened. So I wrote down, you set the bar high. She feels her heart is with somebody else, and she wanted to give us another chance. And he says that he's happy for her. I didn't feel like he reacted in a way that I would have wanted to react, with him thinking that he was the front runner here. So I was like, good choice on yourself there, Tayshia, because I don't think he was that into you. And I was also wrote down, what's up with the hand kiss? So he did a hand kiss when he left after he came back and he was going to meet at the rose ceremony. He like kissed her hand, and then he did it again here. I was like,
he's got a hand thing, right?
I didn't see it that often in life, people hand kissing. All right, so that's the end of Ben. Today is the day. It's nice to know that she doesn't have any other suitors there. So like, you don't have to worry about her breaking someone's heart, because I don't really enjoy that moment. And we haven't really had that moment from I can think of in a while, where it's like women both think that they have the last person's heart, or vice versa.
Right.
And so today's the day. Only one man left. Absolutely. So Tayshia walks up to Chris Harrison in the desert scene. We've been watching this entire season, even from when Claire was, well, maybe not from Claire, but like the last episode of Claire. And Tayshia is crying at the start of it from excitement, she says. Did either of you, were you worried that she was going to maybe not choose Zach in the end?
No.
Prior to this episode, yes, but then after watching leading up to it, no.
So she's crying, And she says that she doesn't even know if she's ever been in love before, which I think that also made me kind of clinch, like, okay, there is something real there. Because if she's saying that she doesn't even think when she was married before that she was in love, because what she's feeling with Zach is even different. Maybe now hearing him all the time being like, I haven't felt like this before. Like, she makes me feel like something. Maybe now that makes more sense because it's not seemingly one-sided. So I was happy to hear her say that, of course. Tanya, can you maybe give us a little paraphrase of the final with Zach and Tayshia when he talks to her and she talks to him back?
I mean, you couldn't have scripted it better. It felt like a Nicholas Sparks film adaptation. It felt very like swelling monologue and climax and very emotional and excited. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I thought it was like a really cute proposal. And it felt very, very heartwarming. It melted my cold, dark heart for sure. Like, I felt that it had so much actual emotion behind it. And it didn't just seem like he prepared a speech and then like showed up. Like, they were both like crying at various points and had like their little inside jokes even. It was very sweet. Very, very sweet.
Agreed. She does say that he reads her better than anyone, which we've talked about quite a few times in the different recaps. And she's like, yes, or he's like, yes, it is real. And I'm ready to start a life with you. And I do love like the moment when the guy finally gets to hear fully that like, there's nobody else here. It's only you. It's been you for, I'm gonna cry. Ugh.
It's sweet. Yeah.
But like, you're the one. And yeah. And she wants, and he says that he wants to do everything and anything that he can to keep that smile on her face. And she wants to do the same for him, which is their inside joke, I think, that you're talking about here. I thought it was a nice ending. I thought from where we started with Claire's season to where we ended here with Tayshia's season, it was a journey, but I was happy that it ended this way. I was happy, goosebumps, crying. Like, I thought it was great, the ending. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. So I'm just going to go through these comments, unless you guys have something else that you want to share about the final rose and them hugging, kissing, engaged.
Sorry, this is why I'm saying muted.
No problem.
Imagine how hard it was to sleep during when I worked.
Hot take. So Sama, hi Sama, doesn't think that they will last. I think that they will last, to be honest.
I'm not sure. We'll see. I mean, sorry. No,
I was going to say, with them both being earth signs. Earth signs are very loyal. They like things stable. They like things in the material world. And so I think that they'll find comfort in being in a stable relationship with each other, personally. What were you going to say, Tanya?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure, like, leaving the situation. I believe that they like each other a lot. I think they have, like, a good relationship from what we've seen. I'm happy for them. I don't know. I don't know if they'll last just because it's still the Bachelor franchise. But I have a feel like I'm just surprised. I didn't think this is how everything was gonna end. Really, like, for some reason, I had just thought in my mind that she was not gonna end up with somebody at the end or not end up engaged. And now she's like so totally committed and engaged to somebody who she sees a future with. So I wish them the best. And I hope they last. I think it's really sweet, but I don't know if they will.
I hope so. But yeah, of course, it's The Bachelor. Having the stands and the media and all that stuff, like, kind of always poking their nose in your relationship. We'll see if they can last through that. But I feel as though over some couples that they have a better foundation to be able to weather that storm. And I don't think that they have as much hate, we'll say, on them as people or as in a relationship, that people are like looking for them really as much to fail. So I think that they might do better than some couples have done in the past. Says, hi, Annette. Tayshia knew that Brendan was not ready. That is why they had that date to solidify her feelings. Yeah, I guess so. It's sad, though. Lindsay, hi Lindsay. Can't believe I've finished another season with you guys. Yes, watch the island with you. Now are we doing The Bachelor? What? Of course you are, Lindsay. Yes, so we are doing The Bachelor. I can't remember when that starts, but
January 4th.
I am asking you ladies. I'm assuming that you're into it, but would you guys like to cover it with me again? That would be yes. Yay! Okay, I'm excited about this for sure.
January 4th, the journey begins.
Begins. What date was actually Matt's birthday? Do we know? I know you said Capricorn, but
no, that was Zach.
Oh, sorry, Zach. Do we know Matt James's birthday? That's my question.
Let's see.
So Cassandra's saying Capricorn. Zach is a Capricorn. Okay, perfect. Annette says Brendan was worried about the fantasy suite and Tayshia potentially sleeping with other men. Okay, but I think it was also probably an excuse for him to like shut down his feelings and peace out. Zach or Sam says that Tayshia looked pretty in her dress. I mean, she's been looking very good this whole season. I thought that she had some very good looks, hundo.
Matt, I guess is Matt's December 5th. So is that Sag still? Yeah.
Sag though? Okay. Woo! Sag men. I found from my experience, this is a gross generalization, you know, but they tend to be very passionate, very forward sexually usually, but sometimes they like being what I would call like the unicorn in other people's relationships. So say that there was a couple that wanted to invite a third in, like the Sagittarius would be a third with the guy. So I knew like this could also be Montreal. I was living in Montreal and every single Sagittarius men was always in these like thruples and like these like very kind of scandalous, we'll say, types of relationships, and never necessarily wanting to be in a bona fide like one-on-one relationship with like a heterosexual relationship with a woman. So obviously that's not true for everybody, but that's what I've noticed is kind of part of some of their genetic makeup, we'll say. And so I'm wondering if that is a little bit why Matt James has not ever been in love before. Because they like freedom. They like being able to express themselves freely, usually sexually and kind of relationship wise. So
I'm excited that he's Sag though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sages are impulsive and like want to, you know, like just like go on like whatever is compelling at the time. I can say this as a rising Sag, and also like a lot of my close girlfriends are Sages. So, but I agree, a Sag man is a different conversation. So
for sure, like my Venus in Sag. So I'm into the Sag, like the adventure, the spontaneity, all these things that are really good for a bachelor television wise. I'm not sure though, commitment wise, if that's the best sign for commitment. You know what I mean?
That'll be the next project for Matt James season is we will, and by we, I mean, I will go back to my research and I will see what sign leads have been. And if there's a commonality amongst what types of signs we're seeing as bachelor leads.
Please do.
Well, Colton though, I do know Colton, which is very surprising. And Brazil is going to be really excited.
He's an Aquarius.
It's like I am. His birthday's the day after mine. But I do have to say though, Aquarius though, we're not necessarily heart-centric, right? We're usually a little more aloof. We're usually a little bit more, we don't know how to relate heart-wise as well as other signs do. So I can understand not being the lead because we don't usually want to have those conversations. You know what I mean? We don't really want to get emotional and mushy usually. It's not really our vibe. So I can understand that more so being earth signs and water signs being more inclined to being the bachelor. So I would love to, I can't wait for this research.
Yeah. I know Rachel Lindsay's a Taurus because I'm also a Taurus. And for a female Taurus as a bachelor lead, you gotta love it because if it's a Taurus woman, she's down to make sure that is ending the way she wants it to end and that is in a relationship. So very good lead potential for Taurus women.
Absolutely. Jojo, I believe, is a Scorpio. So it's another water sign. Water. So Scorpio is kind of like the progression of relationships. So they like deep connection, deep emotional connection. If we're looking at it in terms of the astrological wheel, 7 is the sign of the 7th house is a sign of Libra, and so that's about usually about contracts and relationships. But the 8th house is about deeper connection, deeper relationships, like getting into really intense emotional connections with people. So that would make sense for JoJo being the lead, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's a Scorpio. So I love this project. I will work on it with you, 100%. Cassandra almost shed a tear at the proposal. I did shed a tear. I mentioned to Brazil that I cried. I rated the episode an 8. I did. Russ says she flew across the country to beg for JPJ back. I doubt her judgment a little. I'm going to say for this particular season. And I think that she wanted to explore that relationship. You know, maybe she didn't like the way that it ended. I don't know. Do you guys judge her on her judgment for
JPJ and Bennett a little, but JPJ and Bennett are like the same person, except one's a surfer and one's like a bougie guy. So
I'm just going to give her credit of growth and give her the benefit of the doubt that maybe she's her understanding of what she really wants is evolving, and maybe the people that she's been seeing haven't been suitable for her in the past. Because I think when she was on Bachelor in Paradise and that whole crew is like people that are just starting to realize their fame and being influencers and doing all this stuff and feeling, I think you want to play the field a bit more when you're in that position. You're surrounded by all these beautiful people. You're the center of attention. All these hot guys and girls are just around and want to be in your circle. I think she's maybe in a different place in her life right now than she was then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that too. And I liked that moment because I enjoyed JPJ. Like he was just so silly and he did make her feel good. I didn't like when he was getting aggro. I can't remember who was having those kind of aggro combos with. But I didn't like that part about him, but I did like how he made her feel, and he made her giggle and happy, and she loves laughing, and you know, she was chasing that, not necessarily JPJ being like the ultimate catch. I don't think she thought she was going to marry him, but I think she enjoyed how he made her feel at that time. So, and she didn't want to let that go. So.
I agree.
Tamika was shocked when she accepted a proposal because I thought that it might be too soon. But watching and listening to their interviews this morning, I get their timetable. Yeah, I can't wait to watch some interviews about them. A lot of people have been asking me to do some updates on Dale and Claire. Is it bad that like I don't care?
I'm busy whenever you do that.
They're still together.
I'm not interested. I will be doing like a Love Island probably next week to do like an update on Love Island, and maybe we'll pull in a little bit of Dale and Claire. I don't know if you guys care or if you want to do that, Tanya. You didn't watch any Love Island, did you?
No, I watched it. I watched all of it.
Oh, so if you want to do like an update next week, because I don't think there's anything on air next week. I would love to have you both, of course. And Annette says they watched it back already. They confirmed on TV today.
Interesting.
Great.
Okay.
I believe that they both will try their hardest to make it work. I agree. And ending it off with Tamika Francis sharing a last name with me and also being Team Taurus here.
Yes.
Great ending. I mean, it would have been better if it was Team Libra or Virgo because Tayshia's a Virgo. But I can take Team Taurus, Team Earth for the
good
win.
Team. Well, it's a good team. Tamika, you have great taste as well.
It's a good team. All my exes are Taurus, so.
Well, Taurus is ruled by Virgo or by Venus. And so, you know, they love things that are beautiful. So this is also probably why she's attracted to things that Bennett could be offering. Beauty, things that are sensory, sensual, touch, taste, you know, all those tactical things. So rolling around with Zach was definitely going to be a date that she likes because probably the skin-to-skin contact, the touching, making art is something that's very Taurus. So I think that she's got her love story. I really hope that she's as happy as I think she is and that I want her to be. I wish them all the best. Any final thoughts? We did this in a bit shorter than I thought. I'm pretty happy.
Look at this, but my lip is bleeding a little. It's fine. Team Brendan still. I wish. I'm just kidding.
He's on Paradise. Like, don't you worry. Like, people love him. He'll be on Paradise.
Yeah, I love Tayshia more. So as long as her and AJ, oh my God, her and who was AJ? Why do I keep calling him AJ? Whole season I've been calling him AJ.
Was there an AJ on the show? There was an AJ on the show. He was out first.
Sorry, Zach. But yeah, I don't know. It was fun covering the season with you guys.
I know, it's totally fun. Ross says, thank you guys. I enjoyed your analysis. Can't wait for The Bachelor. Can't wait to chat with you about The Bachelor as well. Tamika says, thanks guys and have a good holiday. Happy holidays, everyone. I cannot believe that it is Christmas on Friday, so 2 days from now. What the F? But any holidays that you celebrate, wishing you and your family the best of times. And that's all I have. This is so sad. It's over. All of our love, honestly, like Brazil and I have been talking about love and relationships since like Love Island. So my whole 2020 is like analysis of love relationships.
Pretty much.
That means that we're all going to be, I can't remember if you're in a relationship right now, Tanya.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. I have to hop off, but I love you guys. Sorry.
Okay, we're done. Bye-bye. Bye. Subscribe over there. Join us in these conversations. That's it. We're done.